What's shaking, my friends? Luke Dancy here. It is Wednesday. That means it is our live show day. I want to welcome you guys. If you don't know, we do these shows each and every Wednesday, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And today's show is going to be all about a topic that I get asked about a lot. What is it? Well, we're going to be talking about practicing the right way. That's right. There's one thing to practice, to take some time to practice the things that you need to work on. And then there's another way to look at it, and that is to not only make the most of the time that you have, but also to make sure that you're practicing the right way. So I put together a little list of things we'll be talking about today. So I want to welcome you guys. We'll be talking all about practice today. Very popular topic. Last week we talked all about creating magic. Another really cool thing that we'll be doing today is we'll be showing off more of your Instagram accounts. So if you guys want to post in your name in the comments section, we can pull up your account live. We can check out some of your stuff. If you have a feature clip that you want me to show off here, we can do that too and give you some love along the way. So my name is Luke Dancy. I'm coming at you guys from Las Vegas. If you're new to the show, please tell me where you're tuning in from. I always like to get to know you guys, and I see some new faces each and every week. And speaking of new faces, I hope to see some of you guys out here in Las Vegas for the Magic Live Convention. It'll be coming up before too long here. It's less than a month away. Very excited about that, and I'm sure that I'll be making some new friends, and I'll have some free stuff to give you guys too. So if you're going to be there, look for me. I'll hook you guys up with some free swag. Can't tell you what. Just find me, and I'll hook you up. It's that easy, all right? Some shout-outs along the way to some of my friends watching. I see Kevin Anderson out there. What's shaking, my friend? John Johnson, how we doing out there? Give a little wave. Mads, how we doing? See some familiar faces out there over here on YouTube, and I'll check over on Facebook in just a second. What's up, Marciano? How we doing out there? One thing I really like to do is to bring you guys into the show. So hello officially to my YouTube friends. Let's see. Someone says they have a new effect for us. If you guys do have submissions of magic tricks, because we get asked this a lot too, how do you submit magic to us? If you go to our website, murphysmagic.com, you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and you click submit a trick. That is where you can officially submit your magic to us, and our team will take a look at it and get in touch if we are going to move forward with you guys. So very cool. We got some friends out there. I see someone from Minnesota. Very good to see you out there. John Johnson, no worries. You got it. You are in Sweden over there. That is cool. Hello, Mario. Good to see you as always. So we got a lot of good friends out there, and I'm also going to tune in to Facebook and see what is going on over on Facebook too. All right. So let us do that right now and see who is out there. I see Ari Eisenberg. Good to see you, Ari. Pull up a few of these things too so we can bring you guys into the show. Hello, Facebook friends. All right. Liam, how we doing out there? Nice to see you, Liam. Tim Silva, always a pleasure. Chris Webb, all the way in the UK. Good to see you, sir. Glenn Yost. Tyler Kent says hello. Very cool. Glenn is an old friend, and so is Tyler from North Carolina. Remember meeting those guys back in the day. I see Rogue is out there watching. Adrian's over here too. And it's good to have you guys with us. And again, if you have questions for me along the way, today's topic is going to be all about practicing the right way. Again, there's a big difference between just practicing something and practicing it the right way. I think the way I'd like to lead off this topic is a lot of people will end up taking a look at some of the new tricks that they're working on. And I don't know if you're in the process of doing this yourself or have done it, where you end up working more on the trick than the moves that make the trick happen, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of moves, and I'll start to do a little video series for you guys where I talk about reminding you about the little things that'll help make your magic better, hopefully. I don't pretend to know all the answers to everything, but I try to share some things that have worked for me over the years. I have been around this stuff for a long time, and so I found a few different things that have worked for me, and I'm going to start to share them with you guys. Definitely this one, when it comes to practice, is something I'm excited to share with you. And we've talked about this topic before. People always ask different ways to practice. How do I practice? So I'll give you a little more insight into that today as well. So what's up, Doc Doherty? Sorry, I see you over on Facebook as well. So let's jump back over here to YouTube first and see if you guys have any questions before we kind of jump into this topic. And again, if you guys want me to give you a shout out over on your Instagram account, put in your Instagram name and I can pull it up here for you guys. So Fiddlin' Johnny, how we doing out there? Nero Mathers, I do not hate you. I don't know why you think that. It is good to see you though. It's been a long time. Someone wants to know, and will we get paid if we come up with a trick? Well, of course. We don't just have you guys submit magic and not get paid. We can either work out a royalty system with you, where you get a percentage of the sales, or we can also do a thing where we just purchase the effect from you up front, and then you get paid up front, and we take care of all the production, all the other fun stuff. So, David Pipes, how we doing out there? Good to see you, sir, over on YouTube. Mario, how to know if you practice the right way? So, here's the big tip. You know you're practicing the right way if you start to see progress. If you start to see yourself getting better, or if you feel like you're starting to get better at different things, you know you're on the right track. I've said this before, but it's true that there's so many distractions now in the world. We've got our phones, we've got our TVs, and we got the internet, and we got all this stuff around us, and it's so easy to get distracted from one thing and to jump onto another thing. You know what I mean? So when it comes to practice in particular, I think the number one tip is to focus. Put yourself in a situation, be in an environment where you're able to focus and really to zone in on what you're doing. That's a very key thing. A lot of people, they'll film it and then they'll put it up online. Like, no one really needs to see the progress that you're making unless you're actively seeking for help. You know what I mean? But you can also use your phones, though, to record yourself practicing, and then you can watch it back and be very critical of the things that you're practicing and working on to see if you are getting better. It's a good way to kind of keep a little journal, a digital journal of your progress. You know what I mean? So that is definitely something to think about along the way. Who's this here? Says Truce says good tip, definitely. You know, it's one that's definitely worked for me, and I think the other way that the focus tends to happen is when you write things down. If you're working on practicing and you want to write down things you should work on, it'll keep a little list of things that when you look at, you go, okay, I need to do this. If you just kind of pull things out to practice, you kind of lose your way. So I like to have a little list of things I should work on too. And that is number 2 here, is to pick one thing at a time to work on. You know, I see a lot of people where they will pick up a deck of cards and they will start to practice. So I'm going to grab my deck of cards here. I'm using some aviators right now. I like these things. So what they'll do is they'll pick up their deck and they'll start to do things like this. Do that, do some riffles. You know what I'm talking about. The dribble, the riffle. They might do some false cuts or just some cuts and kind of some nervous habit kind of things. And before you know it, they're working on moves, and then they're doing color changes, and they're doing different sleights, and really nothing good comes from that. So if you really want to focus on something that you want to get better at, well, that's the key word, is to focus, okay? So pick out the things you want to do and do just that one thing. If you can give it that attention, well, then you're going to get better at that one thing, and then you'll start to see progress. But if you just pick up your deck and you start just kind of doing this overload of different moves and different things, nothing's ever going to get better. You might kind of stay at the level you're at, but you're never going to progress because nothing's getting any attention. You know what I mean? Think of it like a basketball player. You know what I mean? That if they never focus on their free throws, then they're never going to get at that. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal knew all about that. So something to think about when it comes to practice. Those two things, focus is definitely one thing that I think is important when it comes to the way that you practice and the attention that you give it too. You know what I mean? So, yeah. There are a lot of other things we're going to be talking about along the way. So if you guys have questions about this stuff as we go forward, definitely get them in now too. Because I think, practicing is a very important thing that a lot of people kind of overlook now because it's not sexy, it's not cool. But it's necessary if you want to get better. I know there's so many new things that pop up and that are out there in the Magic market that it's easy to jump from one thing to the next, and that's good. Variety and all this new stuff is good. But definitely make sure that you take a look at the things that you do perform and try to focus on them. You know what I mean? So there you go. When I practice and it's good, I'll record it, then post it. That's cool, Marciano. I like that. That's good. All right. So a few things to think about there as we go forward when it comes to practicing. I'm going to jump back over here to Facebook and see if you guys have any thoughts. Barat has a good question here. So let's jump back over to Facebook. Hello, Barat. And hello to Kate. How are we doing out there? Barat says, how do we know if the magic we create is a new one and no one has created it before? Well, that's one good thing when you submit magic to a company like us is we have a great team of guys that have a lot of knowledge about magic that has been released before and stuff that's on the market now. And so when things pop up that we see, a lot of times they will kind of recognize something or know that it's something that has been done before. Also now with the internet, if you're part of a magic group, you can post clips of you doing stuff and people can chime in and give you their thoughts and opinions. And if you're looking for crediting, that's another good way to do it. I know a lot of stuff has come out I know that a lot of things continue to come out, so it's kind of hard. But with the internet and the resources that are available and the connectivity, you can connect to everybody. It's easier and easier now to make sure that your crediting is right and that you can also get the answers that you're looking for. I wasn't like that back in the day. You know, you'd have to go in a magic shop, walk in the door, and ask someone, or maybe find someone that knew what they're talking about. Now the information is literally at your fingertips. So it's something to think about when it comes to getting crediting, and it is important to do your crediting along the way. For sure. So Liam, how are we doing out there? So yeah, good question there, Bharat. You know, it is. We're in a very small community of magicians, and so if you don't do the right things, people know very, very quickly. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you definitely do the right things along the way. John Johnson wants to know, do you think, would you recommend purchasing Shin Lims Magic? Yeah, I mean, you know, that's stuff talking about practice. That's going to take you some practice. A lot of his stuff is not going to be easy to pick up and do, but as you can see in the video clips of him out performing and doing stuff, that it's good stuff. And so if you're willing to put in the work, then you can do some really, really amazing stuff. Now, keep in mind, too, some of the things Shin has released, like the Dream Act and a few other things, that were designed more for an act. So you're learning the secrets and you can pull the different things from it, but some of that stuff is meant more for a show, you know? But he's giving away the secrets he's used to perform and to make these shows happen. So, yeah. Nero says, I'm a cardist and I practice in the wind and most of the time in a shaky environment, sometimes magic too. Will that help me get a better grip or am I wasting time? I mean, dude, if it's working for you, that's good. I will say that the harder that you perform something, the harder situations that you are to perform it in or practice it in, the easier it'll be when you actually convert it over to performing. So let me explain. So like one thing that I tell people all the time is, if you're going to try to learn something like the pinky count with a deck of cards, I've suggested to people before that take a rubber band and wrap it twice around the deck. And so when you start to do the pinky count, it's really tough to pull down those cards. And then when you take off the rubber band, it's like a breeze. You know what I mean? It just happens really, really easily. So the same could be said for you practicing in kind of unnatural environments, windy, shaky, whatever, because then when you actually have a situation where you're in a controlled environment, things will happen much easier. So I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a bad thing at all, Nero. David Pipe says, when I practice, I always think to need to work on many things so I have more things to show off, I guess. Recently, I've been working on a few things at a time for better results in my performance. Yeah, I mean, I think, again, it's good to work on a few different things, but I wouldn't try to combine them all together. You know what I mean? If there's like a routine that you want to do, well, make sure that the sleights that you can do are also mastered. And that's what I really want to zone in on today's show, is to remind you that there's a difference between practicing the tricks and the moves that you actually use to perform the tricks with. So specifically, I want to talk about a move that I think gets overlooked a lot. And I'm going to do an entire video just on this, the double lift in particular. Ask yourself a very honest question. When is the last time you actually practiced the double lift? I mean, can you actually answer that question? But how many tricks do you actually use it in? How many times do you use the double lift in the tricks you do? There's a lot of tricks that we do that use it, right? We got, things where the card changes in someone's hand. You do things like the ambitious card, so on and so on. I would take a guess and say it is the most used card move. We use it the most. But how often do we actually take the time to work on it instead of just jumping into the tricks that we do with it? And that's where I want us to kind of backtrack a little bit today is, just because we have new tricks to work on doesn't mean we should forget about the moves that we use to make them happen. And that, to me, is where the real practice comes in, because it's not just about the big picture, it's about the little things that make the big picture happen, if that makes sense. So that's something I really, really want to drill down today when it comes to practicing. You know what I mean? So let's see what you guys have to say. Let's jump back over here to YouTube. Luke, can you give me tips on the Herman Pass? I will. Just give me a second here. Vince is saying, what do you think about Will Tsai's audition on AGT? I mean, a lot of people are talking about it. People are saying magic is good. They like it. A ton of views online. I don't see how that's a bad thing. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times, too, we as magicians look at magic on TV and we complain about it. The truth is, guys, magic that's on TV is not for us. There are not just magic shows on TV created for magicians to watch and be fooled by and entertained by. Sure, there are things like Penn and Teller Fool's. It's a little different, but still, it's a mass audience show. So whenever people complain about magic on TV, I often wonder, well, what do you expect? And magicians in particular, what do you expect? Like, magicians aren't going on TV to try to fool you and entertain you. They're going on to fool the mainstream audience of people that watch this stuff. So I think anytime magic gets any kind of attention in general, it's a good thing. You know what I mean? Let's see. Do you practice a move and make a routine out of it, or practice a move in a routine? So Mario, good question. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Is that if I know I'm going to do a trick, I'll look at the moves that go into making that trick happen. Let's take one very popular trick, the ambitious card. We all do it. We've all done it. You may have done it today. What's the most used move in that? Double lift, pretty much, right? So I will take a look at the moves I use for different popular routines that I perform, and I practice the heck out of them. I want to jump on a plane. I'm sitting there. I'll put the little table down, and I'll just work on double lifts for 2 hours straight. I'll take a look at the things that make the routines happen, and then I can work on the routine as a whole. But if you forget to kind of tweak those little things that make it's like a car. If you don't get your car tuned up every now and then, eventually it's going to break down because you're not getting the oil change, you're not getting it tuned up. Eventually it's going to break down. The same could pretty much be said with your magic, that if you're not giving those smaller components attention, that eventually the whole trick, you're going to lose your way and it's going to get sloppy and it's just not going to be good. Magical entertainment. Vincent, what is the best magic for outdoors? Wow, what type of environment are you doing stuff in? Because that is a good question. Are you looking for kid stuff, big stuff, illusion stuff? Definitely, if you're going to do magic outdoors, one thing to definitely keep in mind is to not make the tricks dependent on the weather. So if it's really windy, are you trying to do a trick where things could get blown away? Are you doing a trick where if the weather changes that you're going to be screwed? That's the kind of stuff you don't want to rely on the weather, or if it can mess you up. So something to think about. Maybe a little more info from you, though, Vincent, will be good, too. And I do want to say, guys, a lot of people are joining these shows week in and week out. They're kind of new. I want to give you a quick little background on who I am and what I've done. My name is Luke Dancy. I'm your host here each and every week on Wednesdays, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Live out here in Las Vegas. I grew up in North Carolina, performed there, and then in 2007, got the call from Chris Angel to move out here and to be a consultant on his TV series Mind Freak. So I started out as a performer, shifted into creating magic. I had magic tricks on the market, and then I shifted into the role of magic consultant. Worked with Chris Angel for 7 years, and now I have very happily shifted over here to work with Murphy's. So that's kind of my background. My experience is kind of a lot of different ways. And so, like I always tell you, though, I don't pretend to know everything, but if I can try to find the resources that you're looking for, I will do just that. So that's at least who I am. And if you guys are new, tell me who you are. Where are you from? What do you do? What kind of magic do you like? I'd love to hear from you guys, all right? Truist says, yes, I love double lifts on Instagram. Love it's butter smooth and a magician fool are great topic because you rule. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Someone wants to know the best smoke device on the market. I mean, I really like smoke from Alan Rorson. I think it's pretty cool. Someone says vapor. Yeah, it's a good one too. Phil, good to see you, man. I did see your message pop in on Facebook. I'll try to get to you shortly. What's your opening act again? I remember it had something to do with the blank box deck appearing. What's the name? Yeah, I'll show you guys actually. We'll pull up the old website here in just a second. As a performer, I did find ways to produce decks of cards in magical ways, which I think is pretty much an important thing. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to bring out a deck of cards, why not do it in a way that actually feels like magic instead of just going, all right, here's my cards, pick a card, let's do a trick. I never was a fan of that. So with that said, let's jump over to our website. Welcome, my friends, to murphysmagic.com. We are a magic wholesaler. If you don't know that already, what does that mean? We sell magic to magic shops. So if you see anything on our website, feel free to take a look around. All the latest and greatest stuff's on here. You can grab any of this stuff from your favorite dealers. And a lot of times now we have featured dealers on our social media posts and things like that. And if you do see something on our social media, the same thing, contact your favorite dealer and they can hook you up with the good stuff. But feel free to take a look around our site. We update it pretty much daily with new magic. But here is Sudden Deck. This is the third version of it that we stock here. I'll give you guys a peek at this. That's my friend David Regal. And I don't think there's going to be any audio, so I'll walk you through it. But yes, Sudden Deck 3. And this is what's cool, guys. You're going to walk up to a table. You don't have to use this envelope. He just chooses to do it this way. So you take out a box that's not been printed or put together yet. And he's going to show you the box. And then before you know it, it prints visibly, right before your eyes. You can show both sides of the box. It's empty. And then when you close up the box and put it together, when you snap your fingers, that's when the magic happens, of course. You bring out a deck of cards. And now you can go into your favorite card routine. So again, that is called Sudden Deck. And I hope now you can see why I always try to recommend people to do things before a trick to get into it, because that's a pretty powerful thing right there, right? And it's a perfect way for you to start doing any kind of card trick. The gimmick is totally ungimmicked. You put the box away and you just go into your next trick. So that is something I highly recommend. Phil asked about it over on our YouTube channel. He's watching right now. So it's definitely one of my favorite openers. And I think if you guys give it a shot, you will like it too. All right. Let us go back over to Facebook, see what you guys are up to over on the old Facebook. I see Sean Begonia out there. How we doing out there, Sean? Michael Pierce is from Oscoda, Michigan. Good to see you, man. All right. Alex, good to see you, man. Such great advice. Thank you, Alex. All right. Glenn Yost. All right. Leo, how we doing out there, Leo? Good to see you, my friend. All right. You're late, Alex. That's all right. It's all right. Barat, you're very welcome. James Wise, good to see you out there. All right. So we got some good friends hanging out over here on our Facebook page, too. There's Henry. Hello, Henry. Welcome to our weekly show. It's our live show today. Good to see you, sir. All right, all right. So let's jump back over to YouTube and see what you guys have to say about this stuff. If you have any questions for me along the way. And again, if you guys are just joining me, you can post your Instagram accounts too. And I can pull them up in real time. We can check out some of this stuff. All right. Let's see what you guys are saying over on the old YouTube, though. Hello, hello. Did you come up with Sudden Deck? I did not. That is David Regal. He actually works now with Michael Carbonaro on his TV series, The Carbonaro Effect. David is a great creator himself, has a lot of good products on the market, a lot of good books and DVDs and other tricks too. That's definitely one of my favorites. I like Sudden Deck a lot. And yes, Mr. 52 Cards, thank you. It is a David Regal trick. Let's see, JD wants to know if it is difficult to create magic when we buy things and learn the secret. Why do we ask ourselves, why didn't I come up with that? Why when we buy things? Because you know what? When you see an idea that's been finished, it's easy to go, man, why didn't I think of that? Or why didn't I come up with that? But if it didn't exist, would your mind have ever gone down that path? You know what I mean? So there's definitely those light bulb moments. I've seen tricks coming out, over the last years that I go, man, I wish I come up with that, or why didn't I think of that? Or, but it's those little buds of ideas that when you see them, it's like, wow, this stuff's good. It's clever, right? Alex Torrey, good to see you, my friend. I was thinking of buying Bloomberg Laboratories. Thoughts? Get it. Thomas Blomberg is fantastic. Very, very good. When you open with Sudden Deck, do you suggest to pause or rapidly go into a routine? I like to let it sink in. If you're going to do something impossible like make a box print, show it, pull out a deck of cards, let that moment sink in. I'm not saying to just hold there and wait for applause, but definitely when something like that happens, you want to let it sink in, let people react, and then go into a trick. Almost let them come back to you. That is a moment that they're going to talk about. They're going to be freaking out. People are going to, and then you just go into your next trick. But I definitely wouldn't just go from that right into another trick. Tips on the pass. Golden Gamer wants to know. The number one tip I can give you with the pass and a lot of card sleights and different moves is your grip on the deck. A lot of new people that I see come into card magic, because they're not comfortable even holding a deck, their grip is very tight. Just like a claw on the deck. And people, when they do the moves, it feels very much like they're scared to do a move because it's like they feel like they might drop the cards or they're not doing it right. So I think the number one tip with the pass in particular, because I am a pass junkie, is to have a soft touch with the deck. If you've got a tight grip, number one, you're going to cause friction on the deck, which is going to slow down the pass. And number two, it's just going to look weird. Like, can you imagine if you're just talking? Could you imagine if you're just talking and then the next thing you know, you do this? I'm going to show you guys. Here we go. So I'm just talking. Put your card back. All right, I got my break. And then you're going to sit there and you're going to do this. Like, how crap does that look? You get all tight and it's like that moment and then you do the move. And I get it. We've all been there. We've all started somewhere, but these are the things you need to hear along the way to help you get over those things and even realize that you're doing them. So definitely, I think a soft touch, a soft grip, that does come over time, but as long as you're aware of it, you'll be further ahead than a lot of people. All right. Is Sudden Deck a fast reset? It is, Ben. It absolutely is a very quick reset. Basically, if you were to take that and put it away, and then you take the box and you put it away. Honestly, if you were to then, let's say this is the box that you put together. If you take that out and you put the cards back inside of it, you put that back away in your pocket. Now when you come out, you can go right back into it. So basically, you can do that in front of people if you want, or you can just do it secretly, but it literally just takes you putting the cards back in the box to reset it. There is one other quick little thing to do, but I wouldn't say it's part of the reset. It just kind of happens. Yeah. Which double lift do you recommend? Ian, I recommend the one that feels right to you. I've said a lot to people when I do these shows that the one that I chose to learn, and it took me 10 years to really learn it and refine it. And I'll be doing a video for you guys shortly to show you kind of like my thoughts on it more in depth. So make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. There's a lot more video content coming your way, other than just products. So I definitely think find the one that looks right to you. And ask yourself a very honest question too. Do you see people turning over cards the way that you're doing a double lift? And this goes for all of you guys, right? Do you see people, and I see magicians doing this, and I'm not going to hate on anybody, but do you see people doing this when they want to just turn over a card? First, they get the break, they lift up, and then they'll do some crap like this. Or they'll do this, and they get really weird. If what you're seeing yourself do doesn't look normal, then you're doing it wrong. So there's a lot of different double lifts you can do and choose from. I definitely recommend you to pick the one that you find feels the most natural and normal to you. The one that I do is a push-off double lift. There's no break. There's no get ready. I literally, it's kind of tough to do it here, but I literally just can come over and push off 2 cards and then push them back over, and you have a change. So the reason for it, me wanting to really dial into that, is because I wanted to do a move that people couldn't tell if you were doing it for real or if you were doing it faked as a double lift. So that is the reason why I decided to invest time in that. But at the end of the day, you need to find one that feels natural and looks natural for you. I'm a big fan of the double lift, and keep in mind, again, it is the move that gets overlooked the most. But how many times do you use it? And be honest with yourself. We're not just going to focus on that one move, but any move that you use a lot, when's the last time you actually practiced it? You might use it a lot in a trick, but that doesn't mean that you're practicing it and refining it. And again, that's our topic today, is about how to practice the right way. And that is definitely one component of it. First, we're talking about focus, focusing on doing the stuff the right way. And the other way is to focus on the moves that make the tricks happen. So that's the other topic that we're talking about there. Magic JJ has a good question when it comes to practicing, so I want to pop that up. Thanks for the question, by the way. Would you recommend the 3-way mirror? I think, if it looks like something you would use, then sure. You've got the nice setup in front of you. You can see what you're doing from different angles. I don't see a problem with that if you feel like that's the way that would help you to learn. Some people prefer to learn by putting up their phone, propping up their phone and doing it that way. You could also have a webcam, and you can actually see on the monitor what you're doing as well. There's a lot of great ways to learn magic and to practice it, and that's definitely a very smart addition to that list of options, the 3-way mirror. So go for it, man. If you like it, then definitely do it. Just make sure, though, and I'm going to say this as well when it comes to practice, you might have a 3-way mirror, and you have it on your table. How much other crap is on that table? You want to make sure that the space that you decide to practice is a space that is set up for you to practice. If you have a very cluttered area, like a work area, your mind's going to be a little bit more cluttered because you've got all this chaos in front of you. Think of it the same way with your practice. Is your practice area, I wouldn't say safe, but is it set up to practice? Is it set up for you to actually focus and to do stuff? Or do you have decks of cards everywhere? Do you have coins there and you have invisible thread and gimmicks? You want to make sure that when you sit down, you have a very clean environment. And if you have a 3-way mirror, like Magic JJ just asked, make sure that area that you have it in, you just have the mirror, maybe your pad and your deck or your coins, and you just focus on that. It's pretty important to just do things like that. Good question. Another one here. Good to see you, Curtis, by the way. Have you ever used the Classic Pass? Of course. I love the Classic Pass. I love a lot of different passes. But yes, I have used it. And I think that, again, a pass isn't necessary, but I definitely think that you should find a control that suits you and focus and do it really well. Whether it's the pass, side steal, that's another good one. A lot of people kind of overlook that one. A double undercut, or whatever it takes. Just those little moves that you use to control cards or whatever, make sure that you can do them well. You know what I mean? How can I partner with Murphy's? Well, how would you want to partner with us? Crazy. And what you mean by that? Are there any publications you would recommend for Magic on the radio? Actually, yes. Let me see if we do carry it at Murphy's. So let's jump back over to our website together. And I know who it is, but I don't know if it's something that we stock on our site for other dealers. Let's see. I know who it is. It's Banachek. I think it's not a VHS. I think it's like an audio thing. So let's see here. Again, if you guys are just joining me, Murphy's Magic, you can go over there and check it out. We provide magic to dealers. So if you see something on our website that you do like, feel free to hit up your favorite dealer. They can hook you up with anything you see on our website. Yep, there it is. Steve Banachek Shaw. So yes, there is a Radio Magic CD set that's available from your dealers out there. This is all magic that is created for minimalism, created for the radio. Things about, learn secrets to booking yourself, handling callers, and performing magic on the radio. There you go. Again, that is called Radio Magic by Steve Banachek Shaw. So you can see it's a little older, but I'm sure the information is just as relevant today as it was when it was first released. That's a good, very good spot to try and promote yourself, is to go on radio or TV and try to get yourself out there in front of people, for sure. It's a great way to do that. Hi, Luke. When did you start to practice magic? That's a good question. And by the way, I see Jared out there. Happy birthday, my friend. Hope you're having a good birthday, my friend. When did I start magic? I started doing magic back in 1987. I was about 8 years old. And so now 30 years later, I'm still around this stuff and loving it, just like I did when I started. And it was magic on TV that got me into it. It was David Copperfield, his specials and all that fun stuff. So that's what got me into magic to begin with many, many years ago. So yeah, and it's been a fun ride, but magic has definitely changed along the way. And I've got a clip I might bring up for you. I put this up a couple days ago over on our YouTube channel and Facebook page, kind of going back in time a little bit when it came to magic, learning magic back in the day. So we'll see. Let's jump back over here to YouTube and see what you guys got to say about this stuff. Go to Murphy, scroll down. Yes, if you do want to join us, thank you, Curtis. You can go down and submit a trick on our website there if you want to join the team by producing a product with us, for sure. If you want a resource on the double lift, Big Blind Media's double lift project, an excellent, even if you think you have the lift off, you will learn something. Yes, Mark, great resource. Thank you for that suggestion too. That's true. They do have a whole thing on just the double lift. Great. Any tips on good street magic? What I'll say about street magic, number one, is it's not really a real thing. Let me explain. Street magic was created for TV. Before David Blaine went on TV, there was no such thing as street magic in the way that we see it now, where people walk around and just do magic for strangers at a moment's notice. There is another way to do street magic that's real, and it's called busking. And it's where people set up a table, they do a show, and at the end they pass the hat around and they get money. And in a lot of cities, you need a license to do that. The street magic you guys are talking about is the stuff where you just randomly go up to people, you do magic, and try to get reactions. And I can guarantee you, if David Blaine wasn't with camera crews, he wouldn't be walking around doing that stuff. But if you want to do magic on the street, do it quick, visual, flashy stuff. Magic with money is great. Something like Extreme Burn 2.0 from Richard Sanders is a great thing. Maybe do something like Tarantula. We got the brand new Tarantula 2 coming out. You can see Yeagal doing this in groups of people on the street, so you don't have to be afraid. This is magic you can do with thread in a very real-world public environment. Things like that, where things float, move, or again, things with money. Very cool stuff. So hope that helped you out. Let's jump over to our first... let's go back over here to... let's see if you guys have any Instagram accounts for me. I want to go check out you guys over on Instagram. Tim Silva, hey Luke, did you bring all those books, notes, and VHS tapes back home with you? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to bring a lot of it with me. It's too heavy to fit in the luggage, but I did bring back some things. And there's a lot more there too. So I've got to figure out a way to get that all together in one point. So yeah. Not a David Blaine fan. No, it's not that I'm not a David Blaine fan. I just think that people need to realize that street magic, as it's kind of presented, was invented for TV. And then the magic marketplace kind of invented tricks, or this genre of tricks, to kind of flow into that. You know what I mean? No, I have a lot of respect for David Blaine and people that do things like that. So that is awesome from Banachek. Very cool. All right. Let's grab one of our friends over here. David, is there certain posts that you want me to pull up from Instagram? We can do that for you. Magic JJ, I'll also do the same thing for you. Do you have one you'd like me to pull up from you? I can do that for you. You are from Romania. Very cool. Curtis, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Good to see you here, my friend. Yes, David, I'm going to grab yours first. Do you have a certain post that you want me to pull up, we can do that together. The latest one, and that's what we'll do. We'll pull up the latest one. This is something I like to do from time to time. I like to pull up you guys over on Instagram and see what you're up to and give you some love along the way. If you haven't yet, make sure you're keeping up with us over on Instagram. That is at Murphy's Magic. We love to see what you guys are doing over there, and we do giveaways, and I go live there sometimes too. So it's always a lot of fun. Here is our friend David. He's watching over on YouTube, and we're going to check out his latest clip. It's one he wanted us to look at. So that is a photo. So I will like it. But where is the... There's no video. Okay. He just wanted me to check out his post. Maybe there's something here. There he is. All right, David. There you go. Okay, cool. Wow, there's a lot of them. Uh-oh. All right, cool. So give that some love. Looks like you're having fun over there, David. And that's what this stuff should be all about. All right, cool. Give that some love. What is this one here? Yes, he's going to go swimming in that. All right. And nice little shot there. We'll like that too. All right, cool. So I am logged on to the Murphy's account. So if you guys do see some love popping up, it is coming from us over there. All right. So let us jump back over here in just a moment to the YouTube channel, and I'll grab some more of you guys in on Facebook too. Let's see if you guys have anything to say. Here is one from Facebook that we should grab. All right, let's grab this here. This is Danny Chase over on Facebook, so we'll grab him. Right, oops, cool. So let us jump back over to Instagram, see what you guys are up to here. And I'm going to paste that in there. This is Danny Chase once again. Danny is watching from our Facebook page. And again, if you guys haven't yet, like that page. And the cool thing is now about Facebook, you can also turn on the notifications so that when we go live, you know about it. So turn them on. It's very easy. All right. So anyway, back to Danny Chase here. He wanted me to post or show you the latest post from his Instagram account. So let's do that now. Here we go. Looks like some card action here. All right, let's see what he's got going on. There's no audio here. I'm iffy on that just because of the fact that Facebook's very, they're really weird about their music. They pull videos down. So that was a nice pass, it looked like. Let's see it again. Here we go. All right, 4 hearts, I think. That was sweet. All right, that was good. All right, Danny. All right, cool. Maybe one more here. Yeah, you're good at cards. All right, we know it. And one more time. Here we go. Card goes back in, face up. And back on top. Got to give that some love. All right. Good stuff there. Danny Chase. Oh, one more to go. There we go. Yeah, just because. He's doing some pass work. It's definitely one of my favorite slides. I'm a big fan of the pass. That was nice, too. All right, man. Good job. A little transposition of the cards there. Very cool. All right. Good stuff, man. Here he is. I actually remember seeing this one. What's he doing here? He looks like some dinosaurs behind him there. What's going on there? So we got a coin here. And what is going on there? A little spellbound action. That's cool. All right. Oh, we got to change to something else. And back again. All right. Good stuff. And we've already liked that, as you can see, Danny. We do keep up with you over on the Instagram. So that is one thing, guys, that if you are checking us out and you are following us on Instagram, we do go in and check out your stuff. I try to like it from time to time. And every now and then I'll also find some content that I will feature on our own feed. So if you do post stuff that you think we might like, make sure to tag us at Murphy's Magic or use the hashtag Murphy's Magic, and we can find your stuff easier that way. All right, cool. Let's jump back over here to YouTube. And thanks again to Danny for letting us check your stuff out, man. Luke, you had said Magic is changing, and I'm curious if you have a sense of how it is changing and where it's headed. Thanks in advance, Fiddlin' Johnny. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely changing and evolving. People have more and more connection to the internet, the secrets, the information. So I think for us, it's important to evolve the methods, number one. Continue to look at different ways we can stay ahead of the curve when it comes to the methods and secrets that we use to do the magic tricks that we are performing for people. Number two, I think it's also important for us to continue to evolve the magic that we do. And I always use this analogy. I love analogies. Is we're not wearing the same clothes we wore 30 years ago. So why are we still doing Magic sometimes the same way that we did it 30 years ago? We need to we need to evolve with the times. I know a lot of people now, they'll do Magic with cell phones. They can do Magic with cell phones with, maybe instead of doing, I don't know, a card to pocket, maybe they now do like a phone to pocket. That's a terrible example, but you know what I mean? Like, you're using things in different ways now to do Magic, and I think that as we continue to evolve, technology evolves, we need to find new and fresh ways to make the Magic relevant to what's going on in the rest of the world too. So those are a couple of things I think that are important, and the Magic is going to continue to change. We're going to learn more digitally, I'm sure. Hopefully the personal interaction that we have with each other, hope the conventions don't go away. That's my biggest fear, is that personal connection that we all have doesn't get lost in the mix, because we're all just behind cameras and sitting at home. You know what I mean? I see, or I did see Joe Monte out there. What's up, Joe? What is going on, my friend? Schmagadoo. He wants to know something. What are your thoughts on the America's Got Talent discussion on using trip tables for sleight of hand? I mean, again, I said this earlier when it came to people asking about like Will Tsai, who I think you're talking about. Magic on TV, and Joe, you know this, it's not created for us. So I think any means necessary to get the job done is okay. Especially in a thing like America's Got Talent, you're there to try to impress the judges and the people watching and all that. We're not there to try to impress magicians. If that was the case, we would be competing at Magic conventions. And again, you know that. So I think people that are going to use methods that they may not use in real performances, if they're going to do it on a show like that, well, then that's what the show is created for. You know what I mean? It's a way to highlight things that we do, but I'm curious to see if Will's going to do something like that on the next appearance. And has he done a second one yet, guys? I don't know if Will has appeared twice now. That should have said trick tables, not trick table. I got it, Joe. So, yeah, I mean, those are my thoughts. Joe, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that too, man. And imagine you could recommend any with iWatches. Yes, you could do a lot of Magic with iWatches too. Any stuff you can recommend with iWatch. If you haven't yet, Joe, check out Mark Kirstein's work. Mark Kirstein has a lot of very cool and clever things, and some of it does use the iWatch to enter some information and to see it in a very interesting way. So check out Mark Kirstein. You can find some of his stuff in the App Store. A lot of it is there. That's where he does. And he worked for David Blaine, creating stuff for him too. So, he's legit. Curtis says, what do you think about, and can't remember his name, it's trending on third place, he acted at AGT. Curtis, if you can figure out who that was, I'd love to know more about it. But isn't the editing the discussion of ethics? Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something to think about, Joe, for sure. I mean, do we know as magicians, though, how edited it was? And, I mean, we've done TV work together. I mean, the problem is sometimes when you go from doing stuff legitimately, when that gets in the hands of editors and people on the other side, there's not a lot of control. So I wonder how much of what was done was edited at the end of the day. And did he actually have any control over that, Good to see you, Greg Williams, by the way. I see you out there. Thanks for joining us today. Let's see. A lot of good stuff. And again, today we're talking about practice, guys. So if you have any questions or thoughts on good ways to practice, so far we've talked about a couple of different tips. Number one is to focus. Find yourself in a good spot and really take things that you want to practice and focus on those things. Don't get lost in the mix of practicing a lot of different things at once. And then number two is to make sure that you don't just get lost with practicing the tricks. You also need to make sure you give some attention and love to the methods that are used to do those tricks, like the different sleights and different things that you use a lot. I've touched on the double lift a little bit here because I do believe it is the most used move in card magic. And ask yourself that question again, and when's the last time you worked on it? And if you can't answer that, then maybe you should take a step back and work on some of the little things that make the big things happen, those tricks happen. So I want to welcome all my friends to today's show. By the way, if you're just joining us, I know we're live, so we have people coming and going along the way. We are live each and every Wednesday, if you don't know that, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And next week I have a really fun interview for you. I'll be talking with a guy known on Instagram as 56 Sealed. He's a card collector. We're going to be talking all about the brand new metallic deck set that you see right over there. We're going to be talking all about it and maybe even give you guys a chance to win one or two of those decks, or maybe the set. You have to find out next week. But that is coming up on next week's show. So we have a really fun chat all about playing cards, all right? And I want to make it known that, the things we're talking about, while I keep referring to things like the double lift, this practice stuff can go to any type of magic that you do. It could be card magic, coin magic. It could be stage magic. It could be things like mentalism. If there's little things like in mentalism where you do a routine and you do a center tear in the middle of it, make sure those little things that you use, make sure you practice them too, So again, this is not just for card magic. I think that might get lost sometimes. Fiddlin' Johnny, phone to pocket is actually a great idea. Thanks for the thoughtful answer. I think there's actually a routine where it's like phone to wallet, if I'm not mistaken. I think that I think it's a James Brown thing, not the James Brown, the singer, but the magician James Brown. Yeah. Let's see. Help settle a bet with a friend on Penn and Teller Fullest. Friend says they are legitimately full. I said, no, help me get some cash. I don't know, man. And here's what I'm going to say, John, about Penn and Teller Fullest that I'm even confused about. And I'll give you a good example. It was on last season when my friend Kostya Kimlet went on there, and he did his Triumph routine. If you guys have never seen it after this, go check it out, or I'll post a link below this on the on-demand so you can see it. Basically, Kostya does a legitimate thing where someone picks a card. The deck is legitimately shuffled, mixed up, face down. It's a mess. He goes through the deck, and then when he closes it back up, it's now fixed itself except for their card. Kostya Kimlet is known for doing the Cole, and he's damn good at it. He does the Roadrunner Cole. There's a great resource out there on it. Let me see if we actually stock the DVD if you're interested in learning it. Let me pull that up real quick. So the reason I bring this up is because someone asked about, do I think that the guys on Penn and Teller Fullest, Penn and Teller, are fooled by some of this stuff? I'm mentioning Kostya because, again, he's known for doing the Cole. He's really, really good at it. There's a lot of literature on it. I don't think that it's in stock anymore. We do have his lecture, though. If you guys aren't familiar with who Kostya is, I'll give you a quick peek at him here. I've known Kostya since we were we were young, super young. So that is, we do have his At the Table lecture. But anyway, so Kostya goes on. He does a trick that uses the Cole, does it beautifully. And even when Penn is watching him do it, he's like, no. Like, you could tell that he knew what he was doing. And then you've got Teller there, who was one of the most well-read, educated magicians. He's a historian. He knows this stuff inside and out. They know, technically, what he did. But they gave him the award because they said they couldn't see it. So I'm going to pull up YouTube. If they know what someone's doing, that means technically they're not fooled, right? So I would love to hear what you guys say about that. That's the reason why I'm going to go in here and ask you guys, is because that confused me. I forget who it was. Someone just asked if I think that they're legitimately fooled. That was John. So based on the information I just told you, what do you think? Like, are they fooled then? Because if someone goes on and does something that they know they're doing, but they still get the trophy, the award, well, did they legitimately fool Penn and Teller? So isn't that the point of the show? So, like, why would you award someone if you know what they did? Both. Okay, someone says both. Joe Monte says, I'm impressed by how many people actually practice now versus a decade ago. It's telecasts like this that help. Thank you so much, Luke. Joe, man, thank you, bud. I appreciate that. When practicing, do you recommend videotaping and watching later or using a mirror? I mean, I prefer both. I really like the idea of recording stuff because when you record it, you can watch it back you can watch the big picture, no pun intended, of what's going on. When you have a mirror, you're either looking at your hands or you're looking at the mirror. So if you're looking at a video of yourself doing something, then you have a better way to kind of look at things as it's happening because you can't look in both places when you have a mirror. You know what I mean? You're kind of back and forth. So I kind of like the idea better of recording yourself and then watching it back. But, I mean, a mirror is also golden. And I find myself, and I know, Joe, you've probably done it too, where you use a reflection. Maybe you're on a train or a plane, and you got a reflection next to you where you can see, and you kind of use that to practice. I mean, we're all geeks, right? We've all done it, I'm sure. Let's see. So you guys aren't giving me any info, though, on the Penn and Teller stuff. I want to know what you think, for real. What are your everyday carry magic items? I mean, I carry something on my keychain. It's called Departure. It's a ring flight. You're able to vanish a ring, show your hands empty, pull out your keys, and it's hanging from your keychain. It's a great thing. It's like $30, like Departure. I usually keep my trick capture with me, the thing where you put a coin in a phone. And I have some stuff that I use on my phone, too. And, I'll usually throw in a deck of cards in my pocket and get on my way. So, yeah. Magic Tail says, I'm getting Quantum Angel this weekend. Any tips? I think it's a great piece of Magic, first of all. If you guys haven't seen Quantum Angel, this is a fun one. I'm going to pull it up just to show you guys if you haven't seen it yet. We're going to go back over to the website. This is a visual piece of eye candy. I really like the idea behind this. And the cool thing is you can actually do this in real time. Like you can predict someone's name or a word, thought of word in real time. And I want to make sure you guys are aware of that. This isn't something where you get the information previously. This is where you actually get the information in real time, and you are able to reveal it in a very interesting way. So basically, it's from Paul Harris. If you guys don't know who he is, you're missing out. Paul Harris is amazing. The idea, though, is someone names a name, a word, and someone else picks a card. And basically what happens is you reveal the card first, and then you do something visually cool. In just a second, you'll see that the angel starts to move, and then it reaches in and pulls out an envelope. And inside the envelope is the name or the word that they just named a minute ago. Again, this is a real-time thought of word or prediction. There's no preset, as you just saw, no pre-show, anything like that. So I want to show you again the animation here. I think it's right about here. This is really, really smart. So where's that animation? Is it not going to pop up? Nope. I'm just going to jump around. I want to get a little visual again to show you. Where is it? Let's go back here then. There we go. So one more time, here's what the animation looks like on the back of the cards. The angel starts to animate when you flip the deck or the pack. It's a pack of cards, and it reaches in, grabs an envelope, you pull it out, and that word or name is in the envelope. So there you go. That is, again, called Quantum Angel. I think it's great. Someone asked if I had any tips for it. They're going to get it this weekend. I don't really think so. Just make sure that you're aware of the angles. It's not like you're going to reveal the trick, but when you do the riffling of the cards, make sure everyone can see it. I think that's my only real tip, because it is something that happens kind of, right in front of people. So make sure, if you can, step back and do the reveal so everybody can see it. I think sometimes when we do things, we get lost because we're excited to see something happening and we forget about other people seeing it too. So just make sure that you allow it to be seen by the group of people, not just you and the one person. You know what I mean? Because it's such a beautiful moment. You would hate for it to get lost, So, yes. Brandon Pierce has something to say over on Facebook. Let's see what Brandon's got to say. Brandon says, because Penn and Teller have said they wanted to be fooled, like laymen again, like when they first were fooled by magic. I figured that's what I was asking about. So I'm still curious. Brandon, nope, that was not for you. It was for the... Okay, the idea is to fool a magician. The idea is to fool a magician, not layman. They acknowledged that they couldn't spot the move, like a layman wouldn't, but they were not fooled. So Penn and Teller, after all, is just a show, just like AGT. I mean, yeah, it is TV. I mean, that's a good point, too. It's a TV show, so I get it. That's a good point, too. Brandon Pierce says, lots of these kids on YouTube practice card sleights on the floor in a tight, confined place, but if you're going to do it on a table, then practice at a table where your practice is just as important as what you practice. Yes, I mean, that's true. The environment is going to help to dictate how well you actually practice. James Beck, hi, Luke. I just got in. I wanted to say I really enjoyed your Back to the Past production the other day. Oh, thanks, James. Appreciate that, man. You'll be seeing a lot more of that type of content. And that is something I want to step back and ask you guys, too. I've got a whole list of different topics that I want to start to talk about. I'm not going to do like a new weekly show or anything like that. I'm kind of experimenting with different things. But I am going to start to do more videos on different topics of magic that we're all interested in. And so if you have any suggestions for any of those things, I would love to hear from you. This is going to be stuff that hopefully will be a weekly thing. And then we have Magic Live coming up. So I'm going to give you a lot of behind the scenes action of Magic Live out here in Las Vegas. So if you've never made it here before, you're going to get a chance to see what goes on at a convention. It's going to be really cool. I'll be live there doing some stuff too. So get ready, guys. It's going to be a good time. So, if you do have suggestions, though, let me know, guys. And thanks again, James. Appreciate it. Practicing your patter is huge, too. Yes, Danny Chase, that's a very good point. And again, guys, if you're just joining me, today's topic is about practice the right way. It's true. And that's a good third point here. So the first one we talked about, focus. Make sure you focus on the stuff. Number 2 is make sure you practice the pieces that make up your tricks, not just the tricks themselves. Number 3, practice your patter too. I was going to go there. Danny did it first. So practice the patter. Practice what you're going to say. Practice going over it. So when you do end up performing, everything melds together. Another good thing, Joe Monte asked me a minute ago, do I practice with recording it on a phone or a webcam, or do I do it with a mirror? The nice thing is when you actually practice with something that's like a phone and you can play it back later, if you record yourself performing and talking through it with the presentation, when you play that back, not only are you going to get a good idea if you're actually doing good magic, technically, but also, do you like the way you sound? Do you like the way that you talk? Are you talking too fast? Should you slow down? That all comes out too when you start to use the patter when you are practicing too. Walk it through when you are doing the moves. Walk through and talk it out as you go along. A lot of people, when they see me do the tricks that I do, I always perform them the same way. I say the same things. It's not an accident. It's not because I'm lazy. I feel like if you already know what you're going to say and what you're going to do, it gives you a chance to then just connect on one thing. Not the trick, the people. And that's where things are really important at the end of the day. So, good stuff. You guys are smart. Got a lot of very clever people out here. I like this. I want to make sure I get to this. The Munwar had something to say. How do magicians who are not professional improve the patter? I've always been advised by professional magicians that I should set patter to my effects. When I do it alone in my house and keep talking while doing magic, my family thinks I'm crazy. So the point is, magicians who are collectors, how can they improve the presentation and patter? Any light on it? I think one thing that's huge when it comes to presentation and the things you're going to say when you perform is to try to make them relatable. Maybe it's relatable from you, things that are actually part of your life or things that you've learned or that you find interesting. The other way to work on pattern and presentation is to find things that are relevant in the world. What kind of things are going on in the world that you can bring into your magic and make it topical and have it make sense so people actually become interested in what you're doing. That's why magic with money is always fun, because people, they know that currency keeps changing. We've got, different counterfeit things going on. So there's kind of like that natural connection from us to do magic with money when we know that there's all this change in money and that the counterfeit stuff exists, and we can kind of naturally place some of that into the tricks that we do. You know what I mean? So, and again, I just said, record yourself doing it. If you don't want people to think you're crazy, record yourself privately talking through the stuff. And if they don't know that you're doing this for the right reasons, then they should know, so they don't think you're crazy at the end of the day. One more. Garrett says, normally after a gig, my voice tends to go away. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Sometimes within an hour after my performance, and it takes about 2 to 3 days for my voice to be back again. How can I prevent this? Well, Garrett, I think first of all, make sure that you're okay. I think is an important thing. If you're performing and you have some voice stuff, you want to make sure that you don't have any vocal problems. I know a lot of singers have gone through this to where they have to get help. Sometimes they actually have to get some work done to try to help figure out what's going on. But if you really are starting to lose your voice like that, you may want to check with a doctor and see if there's something major going on there. Because as a singer, that's kind of a natural thing. But as a magician, speaking, I'm not sure that that's something that should be happening, because you could be using your voice the wrong way. Are you loud when you perform? Are you a street performer and you're kind of having to be loud to get attention? I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you're doing that might make you do that. And I'm sorry to hear it, but that's not good. Bob Miller, always a pleasure, my friend. Bob says, Luke, what do you consider one of the best close-up classics still frequently used in routines today? Bob, I mean, there's a lot of them, aren't there? A lot of good classics out there. I always end up going back to the ones that we all do. Things like the ambitious card. And that's what's cool, guys, is that we all do it in our own way, don't we? We all have the basic plot, and then we end up taking it and doing something of our own with it. And I think that we should be doing that with a lot more of the magic that we work on and perform than just something like the ambitious card. That's definitely a classic. If you guys have never seen it, check out Daryl's. He's got a whole series. I think there's like a DVD all about the ambitious card. But that's definitely a classic routine. Then you see people doing things like the cups and balls. That's another classic. Not one of my favorites, and I've said this before, just because I think it's a little bit anticlimactic. I think people know kind of what's going on, not from a method standpoint, but they kind of know what's going to happen. And I don't really like that from a perspective, because it's like, to me, when someone starts to do the cups and balls, they bring them out. People already know the balls are going to jump around, they're going to vanish, and something big is going to appear at the end. So to me, that's no different than doing something like card on ceiling, going, okay, I'm going to do the card on ceiling trick. So everyone's looking at the ceiling the whole time. Like, I don't know. What do you think about Damien from AGT, the one with the case? I talked about this a little bit yesterday when I did my Instagram live. I was on there. I had coffee with you guys that were watching. I do that every now and then. I'll start my day with a cup of coffee, and I'll jump on Instagram live, and you guys will ask questions. Here's what I think about Damien. First of all, I like what he does for Magic. He's very popular on Instagram. I think on Facebook too, which is good. Bring awareness to Magic. The one thing I don't like about what he's doing is becoming repetitious, and I think hopefully that's going to change. He did his first appearance where he actually did something pretty original. I'm going to use cards to try to do the example, where he laid down, and then above him was like a board, and then above all that, at the very top, was sand, and the sand started to trickle down. It landed on this board, and when it got too heavy, it fell down on top of him. And then he appeared at the end where he was the guy that broke open the thing to try to save him. So that was pretty cool. That was different. But then he decides to do a Buried Alive, and it's the same thing at the end where he doesn't get out, and then he's the guy from the crew that is not supposed to be him. So I hope he doesn't get stuck doing the same thing over and over, because repetition's not good, especially when it comes to tricks like that. Again, I think it's nice to see a change of pace. We've got guys on stage doing minimalism stuff. We got people doing close-up magic. It's nice to have a guy that's kind of doing different magic-y stuff, like illusions, escapes. But I just hope he doesn't get stuck in the rut of doing these illusions where things go wrong, and then he's there in a magic kind of way. I get it. They're playing on his wife freaking out. They're playing on all that. But I hope that he doesn't just get stuck doing that over and over and over, Manwari, you're welcome, sir. Hello, Paul. Good to see you. Yes, I think it might be that I am too loud when I perform. All right, Garrett. It says I perform close-up magic. I do tend to talk much louder when I perform and much more constantly than when I talk in general. Okay. Danny Chase says like linking rings. Yeah, I mean, linking rings are another thing that to me it's a little bit anticlimactic. People know what's going to happen, but they are classics. So can you really argue that? You know what I mean? So let's jump back over to YouTube. It's been a hot minute since we've been there, and see what you guys are doing over there. Pattern is important. This comes from Mark Craven. Pattern is important, but you don't want to be too rehearsed. A word can come across as exactly that, rehearsed. No, that's fair. That's fair, Mark, because if you just sound like a robot presenting something, you're going to sound like a freaking robot. And that's, I think, another reason why it's important to practice the pattern when you're practicing the tricks, and record it. And do you sound rehearsed, or do you sound like you're genuinely delivering it? But you're right. Too much practice of something can feel very contrived. So that's a good point. And again, guys, if you're just joining me, we are talking all about practicing today, practicing the right way, hopefully. I want to give you guys a quick rundown one more time of the things we talked about so far. Number one is to focus when you practice. Find the things you want to do and focus on them, and just them. Don't get lost in everything else. Number two is when it comes to practice, don't just practice the tricks you do, but also the moves that help make them happen. And what we just talked about there, pattern. Make sure you practice the pattern too. The presentation matters just as much as the trick, sometimes if not more, because the methods that we use are sometimes very, very simple. So make sure you're presenting them in a way that people will connect to and really understand. All right. Dean Magic, hello, good to see you. Look at Joe Monte's photo comment about Jay Sankey. I will do that. Hero Boy Luke, what one do you like more, Colossal Killer or Heirloom? Can't decide. Very similar effects. For me, Colossal Killer. I like Heirloom too with the photos, but I think that I don't know. People for me didn't believe the photos were that old and stuff, so it feels kind of magic-y to me. I liked Colossal Killer. Let's see here. Someone mentioned, I look forward to seeing you at Magic Live. So many times you're busy and heading in different directions. I only would get to see you for a moment. I hope to extend that this time. Yes, Joe, that's the plan. I would love to spend more time with you for sure. Hope you're doing well, by the way. Las Vegas is beautiful. Always wanted to visit it. It is beautiful. It sure is. It's hot, though. Gray Williams, Penn and Teller, love the show, but I think they show a lot of favoritism. All right. They had to know most of the moves Richard Turner was using, but said he fooled them. Love Richard Turner, but I feel he got a pass. Yeah, I could see that. I think it's like a respect thing at that point, right? They know that he's really, really good at what he does, and so they're going to really pump him up. And he does have a great story. He's a pretty inspiring guy too, so yeah. Michelin says, I think if they can't see the coal, they can't be 100% sure that he did it, if you know what I mean. All right, that's fair, Michelin. All right, we're talking about Coach Kimlet doing his Roadrunner coal, the Triumph routine that he did. We're talking a little bit about that earlier. Yeah. Andrew Nagy, good to see you, by the way. He wants to know, have you ever felt lazy towards practicing? If so, how do you overcome that and motivate yourself? I wouldn't say I get lazy towards it. I always try to find different things to practice. I try to use different things to work on and practice to kind of keep it fresh and fun. You know what I mean? So haven't found myself doing that yet. Yeah. Pin and tiller is just a show. Oh yeah, we already talked about that. Phil wants to know the trick capture that you just mentioned. Can it be done with the spectator's phone or just yours? It can be done with the spectator's phone. It doesn't have to be a certain phone, just as long as it's a smartphone, really. So yeah. I'd like to hear you discuss Jay Sankey's discussion of how he actually did full pin and tiller, but they didn't get his methods. You know, I think what Jay put up, and I know Jay, I think what he put up was more of a publicity video than an actual video. I think he went in knowing the things he was going to do were not going to fool them. He put out little carrots, dangled the carrots, and then he went back later and said, well, this is what I actually did, if you guys don't know about that. So, you know, I thought it was a very clever marketing tool. I'm not going to say I thought it was a great idea. I think it was when it came to marketing himself, which is what he's doing a lot of these days. I think it was clever for that. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Fiddlin' Johnny, Cups and Balls is just too old and boring. I appreciate it when it's done well, but not my thing. Not my thing either. You know, there are some good people that have changed it up. You've got David Regal that's at the end of his routine, he produces the old cups that we all get from a Magic set, you know, the blue, red, and yellow one. Instead of producing big, you know, balls or whatever, like tennis balls or whatever, he produces the small cups, which I think is clever. Jason Latimer, you know, he's performed his clear cups routine. You know, there's ways to kind of evolve it and to make it new and fresh. But the traditional routine, I do think it's a bit dated, personally speaking. What about warming up prior to a gig? I think it's great. You know, you got to get yourself on. You got to get yourself going, whether it's up here or it's here with the hands. Definitely warming up. You got to be in the zone. You got to get in the mood to do stuff. I know when I used to do restaurant magic, sometimes I would pull up and I just wasn't in the mood. And I would sit there in the car and I would kind of amp myself up and get some music playing. I'd get in the mood and then I would walk in and I would just do my best. So, yeah, definitely rehearsing stuff prior will get you ready. And then when you get there, you need to get yourself kind of pumped up and ready from a performer standpoint too. Yeah, you can't just always turn it on. You know what I mean? Ian wants to know, what are your thoughts on Leap? I think Leap is fantastic. It's very clever. The method will make you smile when you actually sit there and play with it and do it. It's a lot of fun. And it's practical. You know, the old trick where you make coins appear inside of a glass is upside down, or the one that's inside the glass is upside down, traditionally is not done in a way that you can carry it around and do it. You know, you have to have a stand, or you got to do it some other special thing that it's not portable. This is a way that now you just carry around a card box and you can do this really crazy thing pretty much at a moment's notice. And the method is surefire. It's not like there's a remote that might malfunction or the batteries might go out. It's self-contained and very clever. That's why you've seen a lot of people do Leap online. We actually put a quick little video clip on our own Instagram of it. The guys in the warehouse did it. So Leap is a very good one. If you guys haven't seen it, you know what? I'll bring up our Instagram account and show you what Leap looks like if you haven't seen it before. I think if you haven't, you're going to like it. Speaking of which, over on Instagram, don't forget we are there at Murphy's Magic. This is something I posted a little bit earlier today. This is literally one of the tables. This is not just a bunch of cards. This is literally one of the tables in our warehouse. This is what the guys work on. It's just cards on cards on cards. Pretty cool, huh? If you haven't liked it yet, make sure to go over there and give it a like. Come on, give it a like. So we're going to show you Leap. This is a version of it from our friends over at Enjoy the Magic. So if you haven't seen it, this is what we're talking about right now. Leap is the thing where you have a card box, like I just said. You take a small shot glass, put it so it's standing up. You take a larger glass and you isolate it by putting it face down, mouth down. You take a coin. You're going to take the coin and you're actually going to try to make it penetrate through that glass inside the one that's face up or upright. Keep in mind, this can be done with a sign coin if you want, and you can also do this with a ring. You can borrow a ring and you can do this too. So that's one little quick performance of Leap. We have another one from the guys in the warehouse. I'll show it to you right quick. All right, this is our guy Chris. He's hanging out here. You can see our warehouse here. Magic's everywhere. So he's going to do this again once more. This is Leap. I borrow a coin. Get your card box, grab one of the little small cups there and a larger cup. And you're going to place the small glass right there so it's mouth up. The other one goes over it, mouth down to isolate it. And we're going to take the coin and we're going to take it and make it go right through the glass. Check it out. Here we go. Right about there. Come on, man. The visuals are great on that, aren't they? It looks sick. That looks so good. And the other cool thing is it's by the same guy that also created the trick called Cross, which I've actually done for you guys over on Instagram Live. Another visual piece of goodness. So that's what Leap looks like. One of my recent favorites. There's a few of my favorite tricks that have come out recently. And I think this is a good time to show you what some of my favorites are over the last few months. So I'm going to do that real quick. I want to give you my top 3. And then we're going to move back into the show. So top 3, that was one of them. Leap. That's one of my favorite tricks from the last, let's say, the last 4 or 5 months. Leap is one of my top 3 favorite tricks. Another one of my favorite tricks is this one. This one's from João Miranda. Very clever guy. Here we go. This one's called Mental Pin. This is sick. Basically, what's cool about this one is you're able to do the old thing. You can see the X's here on the box. Basically, this is based on the old principle where you have someone turn a piece of paper or a map upside down. They take a marker and they mark a spot randomly with the pin. You know, you don't see where you're marking because you're holding it up when something's held down. And basically, you're able to predict where the mark was going to be. You could do this with a book. You could do it with a map again or anything like that. Cool thing is the gimmick activates in the spectator's hand. So the pin can write afterwards. So that basically they make a mark, you put the cap back on, and you say, actually, hold on, take the cap off. I want you to sign this so you know I don't switch it. And that's the same pen that they just used a moment ago. So it alleviates the thought that that's just a dried out pen. Super, super clever. I know a lot of people love it. Very, very well made too. This one is, again, from João Miranda. A lot of great routines you can do with it. You can do card forces, you can see here. A lot of other predictions and revelations you can do with it. So that's another favorite that I really, really like. And another favorite, this is my number 3 favorite. This one comes from my old friend, Mr. Michael Chatelain. I like good visual magic. And the first one we talked about, Leap, is good visual magic. This one I think is a little bit under the radar. This is something that might look a little familiar. He put something out a few years back called Ink. This is a brand new and improved gimmick. I'm just going to show you what this looks like. You're able to do some sick visual stuff with this on the box, and that's Michael there. Known Michael for a few years, one of the most creative guys in our industry. So he's going to show you a few of the things you can do with the tornado box. You can cause ink on the back of the box to change, and then you can wipe it away. That's sick, right? I mean, come on. You could do that. There's some other really cool things, though. I want you to hang on and watch this. So we got that. You can cause a coin, that's drawn on the box to turn to a real one. This is the one I really like. Watch this, guys. You've got the sticker. Watch. You can actually cause it to jump back onto the box. Come on, that's sick, right? That's another one of my favorites. And this one, too, all the numbers there scramble down to the bottom of the box. I think there's one more, too. You can customize these things. Here's the other one, too. Make something up here on the box, right? Looks great. And that's a little rising card there on the box, too. And again, at the end, you just take your finger and wipe it away. You'll see it here. A bunch of little dots joined together. And here's one more thing he's going to show you. You can make something that you draw, change, and then you can wipe it away. Check it out. There you go. So that, again, is called Tornado Box. Those are my top 3 faves from the last few months. I'll be actually start to do some videos for you guys every now and then, letting you know what some of my favorites are. But one of the really cool things is working at Murphy's Magic, I get inside access to all the latest and greatest new stuff. Some of it's actually not so great, but I only want to tell you guys about the good stuff. And those are my top 3 right now. So let me know, did you guys like those? Do you have any of them? I would love to hear from you guys. Someone says here, Joe Monte says, Leap looks freaking great. Yeah, it is. It is the good stuff, man. Very, very good. Let's see here. UK, as a mentalist, I want to gather some info about any person like birth date before a gig. What's the best alternative? Have other pre-show, because Facebook don't show birthdays of people. That is a good thing to use now, isn't it? To use things like Facebook to profile people. It's pretty cool. Cool thing about Mental Pin is that you can use the gimmick for other Sharpies, which is neat. Yeah, that's right. 52 cards. Yes, that is true. Check out my Instagram. You don't have any magic videos. What do you have over there then? What do you have over on Instagram? What are you guys talking about? You're funny. I just saw Leap at my brick and mortar shop. Amazing. Just would like to see it used in a routine or how to incorporate it into one. Yeah, no, that's fair, Greg. Yeah, I mean, the visual's great, but what more do you do with it? That's a good point. Would you suggest a PK ring for beginners? Yeah, sure. Definitely check out the new ones, though. The kinetic ring is really good. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second here. The reason I recommend the newer ones is because I have a bad story about some of the older ones. Unfortunately, the older PK rings that you bought, they were made very cheaply. And even if you wore one and you took it off and you just drop it, even not like from a super high distance, the things would crack, which is a shame. So now we've decided to amp up what you can do with them and make them more just sturdy in general. These are called the kinetic rings. Here is a nice picture of the box for you. So these are the ones I definitely recommend. You can get them in gold and silver, I believe, maybe even black, I think. Much more shatter resistant, as you can see here. Yes, they are available in 3 colors. You got black, silver, and gold. There's also some tricks, routines included when you buy these. I think that's a download. That's the one I'd recommend 100%, because the old ones, again, they would break. And I used to use one when I did one of those the stupid tricks where you smash your hand on something. And when I did the trick, the thing broke. The ring broke. And then I was asked to do it again. And I did it again. And I messed up the trick. Luckily, it wasn't a knife. But that's neither here nor there. So, yeah. Stuff can go wrong. Let's jump back to Facebook real quick and see what you guys got going on. Stefan wants to know, how can you work for a company like Murphy's? We can ask these questions a lot. It's a good question because it's a good gig, and I really enjoy what I do at Murphy's. I definitely think the one thing, if you want to work for any magic company, a couple quick tips here. Number one is to just be someone that's out there in the community. Magic, as I say all the time, is a pretty small world, small community of people. As a kid, growing up, I used to save up on money so I could travel to go to magic conventions. Not just to go learn tricks, but also to network and meet some of the other people that are interested in the same stuff I am. There are people that are dealers, magic dealers selling magic. There are magic creators, people that just create magic. There's people that are performers that go to hang out. And you've got people that are just like yourself that are learning or hobbyists or just are interested in this stuff. And you get to know these people over time. And now when I go to a convention, I literally can walk through the dealer room and I can say hello to pretty much every dealer. And I've known them for a number of years. And it's a pretty cool thing. And it's a true brotherhood. So I think the number one thing is just be seen, be out there if you can. And just be good at what you do is the other thing. Like if you're good at what you do in this industry, you don't need to get on top of a mountain and tell everybody how great you are. Just do good work and the right people will know who you are. And that's a big key to it. The other thing to keep in mind is have a good reputation within our industry, because it is a smaller industry. Magic's a lot smaller than you think it is. Word gets around quick. And the one thing that you should always try to do is to conduct yourself in a professional way. And I think I've managed to do that throughout the years, which is why I have a lot of acquaintances in the industry, and a lot of them are my friends. So be genuine, be nice, and do good work. And hopefully the rest will take care of itself. So, yeah. And if you do end up working for a company like Murphy's, you'll love it. You will love it. Can I send my trick on Murphy's Magic Messengers so you can play it for people? I'm not going to be sending any videos out like that. I mean, unless if you have something on your Instagram account I could show off, you can give me your Instagram account and I can pull up the feed there. I find out that the trick double cross is not good for camera angles. Huh, okay. You talking about double cross or cross? Leap is lovely. Yes, yes, yes. Mark Atkinson, how we doing? Yay, you're still alive. Yes, yes, I am for a little bit longer. These always fly by. Like I always think, okay, I'm just going to go on for an hour. And now here we are almost an hour and a half in. So, yeah, but they're always fun. Danny Weiser, hello, hello. Danny, I want to bring you back on again soon, man, so we can just talk. We could just talk and hang out. I'd love to do that. James Beck, as much as I enjoy Fool Us, I do think it's an hour-long commercial for the magicians putting out their tricks. That's actually one of the reasons why I decided not to go on the show. I know 6 to 8 months ago, I told you guys I was approached to be on this season of Fool Us, and I decided not to. And that's actually one of the reasons why I decided not to, is because I don't have a new trick that I want to put out and that I want to promote. There's nothing against it, but I'm not that person. I also don't think I could fool them. And I don't have any promotional material I want to try to build off of it. You know what I mean? I'm not like trying to put it on my show reel of, as seen on TV and all that. So, but it does feel like a lot of people go on there just to promote the new tricks that they're working on. Yeah. Yes. All right. So that is over on Facebook. Let's jump back over to YouTube, though. See what you guys are up to over there. If you guys have any other questions for me, don't forget today's topic is about practice. If you have any more questions about practice or stuff like that, let's get them in while we're here. Let's see. The fact that he erases the ink on the box means that you have to erase it. Dave Cross, I mean, I don't have the specifics on Tornado Box, but I think the fact that you erase it is a selling point from a presentational angle, because it changes and then you can just make it disappear or make it, that it's gone. So I think that's more of a selling point. Could you talk about the gift? And you are a nice guy. Well, thank you, Mr. Magic Bear. The gift is great. I mean, you've seen the trailer. It's been on back order for months and months and months. People have been loving it. It does exactly what we promote it as. It's very well made. And Angelo Carbone is a genius. I'm not going to put it any other way. He's a freaking genius. People are loving it. There's also a Facebook group I know that Angelo started for people that have purchased the gift. A lot of good presentational ideas, some new methods that people have used to work out their routines and stuff. I don't have a bad thing to say about it, except that it's been hard for people to get. I think there's one downside to the gift is that it's very difficult to get because everyone wants it, which is a good thing at the end of the day, but it's cool, Who is Murphy of Murphy's Magic? Is he a magician? Good question there, Rex Spencer. So, a little background. The guy that is not only the founder, but the president of Murphy's Magic, his name is Mark Murphy. He started the company, it'll be 20 years ago next year. So 2018 marks 20 years of being in business. Mark is not a magician. His background is actually as a professional tennis player. Mark started to do a little bit of work in the magic world. He was helping out a friend. He got in, and he saw how much he loved magic and the magic industry. And he decided, you know what? I want to do this. I want to be part of this. And the rest is history, literally. Mark is an amazing guy. His son, Austin, also helps to run the company. He's also great. And the cool thing is, while my name's not Luke Murphy or the rest of the people that work at Murphy's, we don't have the last name Murphy, we all feel like family. And I think that's the best part about the company is Mark and his family do a very good job of making you feel like family when you work here. There's a group of about 60 people that work for and with Murphy's Magic, both in the offices with our sales team and reps and people that purchase the magic. There's also people that work in our warehouse. And then you got guys like myself that work on the marketing side of things and do stuff like that. An amazing group of people. And, hats off to Mark Murphy for making this what it is today. We are the world's largest magic, distribution company. That's pretty damn amazing. So that's a little bit of history. And I've got some pictures I could show you guys sometime. I might do that on next week's show, to give you a little bit of the background and history on Murphy's Magic. It's a pretty cool story, and there's also some really funny pictures of where things were and where they are now. So maybe I'll show you some of that. Let's see. What about Whiplash by Josh Yanowski? It's a fun little gimmick, Ian. If you like what you see, one of my favorite things with Whiplash is when you can do a three fly with cards. You hold the cards and you get it to visibly jump across. I think that's pretty cool. Let's see. Nero wants to know, how can I know what I'm doing is original, has already been made, because there are thousands upon thousands of stuff out there. How do you know I've created what I haven't been made? So one of the really cool things is when you submit magic to Murphy's Magic, we have an amazing team of people. I'm not on that team, so I'm not trying to make myself sound amazing. We have an amazing group of guys, though, that have worked around or in the magic industry for years and years and years. They've seen a lot of magic. They've also purchased a lot of it, so we know what's good. From a crediting standpoint, if it's been done or not. And those guys have a lot of history under their belt when it comes to knowing that type of stuff. So from a submission standpoint, we are very proud to know this is original, this isn't, for the most part. It's not just one person, it's an entire team that looks at this stuff before we ever decide to go forward with it. But in general, as I said earlier, Nero, one of the really cool things is with the internet, you can jump on magic groups, you can jump on magic forums, you can get people to help you that know what they're talking about. People are more and more accessible these days, which I think is one of the really cool things with the internet. You can really connect with people literally at your fingertips. So I would definitely check out some of the stuff there online too. Join those magic groups. I know Facebook has a lot of good magic groups. I see people sometimes posting up ideas and asking people, have you seen this? Do you like this? What do you think? And it's a great way to not only to network and to get to know other magicians, but also to get the help that you're looking for. You know what I mean? You take care, Akash. Thanks for joining us today. All right. Thoughts about fall steals? I think they're fun, Ito, but I don't do them myself. Fun to watch. Of course, Richard Turner, we just talked about a moment ago on Penn and Teller Fullis. An amazing guy when it came to doing fall steals and things like that. Of course, you got someone like Steve Forty. That's amazing too. So I like watching it. I definitely like watching it. That's for sure. All right. I'm going to take a quick little break. I want to remind you guys, if you are new to the show, we also have a way for you to get hooked up with 5 free tricks. These come from Mr. Greg Wilson. I like to give these to you each and every week so that you can get hooked up with the good stuff. These are all delivered to your email. So you get the first one today, and the rest come every day after that until you have all 5. So take a quick peek at this. If you want to get 5 free tricks, now you know what to do. And if you've already seen this, kick back and relax for a minute. Work on your double lift. Work on your pass while we play this real quick. And we'll be back to grab a few more of your questions, and I'll tell you a few more things about practicing the right way.
I'm going to do everything I can to not sound like a sales pitch. But listen, 5 free tricks right out of my repertoire. They're fantastic, part of my immodesty, but they're impromptu. Listen, pens, bills, everyday objects, anytime, anywhere, you'll love it. Just hit the subscribe button. Have a lot of fun. We'll see you on the other side. You can always hit the unsubscribe button. I don't recommend it, but did I mention free? 200, 300, 400. What? It's great. We'll have some fun. All I have to say is limited time offer. While supplies last, operators are standing by. See you soon.
And there you have it, my friends. A little bit of goodness from Greg Wilson from us to you. Check that stuff out, and you will get your hands on some amazing magic from one of the best performers around and also an amazing creator of magic, Mr. Gregory Wilson. So I hope you guys enjoy that stuff. All right. Had a couple people popping up on Facebook with some questions. I wanted to jump over there and see what is going on too. So let us see what's going on. Luke has already talked about my brother Fedon Strick. Yeah, we've talked about Proteus over the last few weeks. Proteus, if you don't know about it, is an amazing book. It is a technique, a principle that allows you to do mind reading, supposed mind reading, at a moment's notice. There's no pre-show work, there's no prep, there's no props. This is a very clever technique that you can use at a moment's notice. So if you've ever thought about, man, it would be really cool to have something that you could do anytime, anywhere, this is great. I'm going to pull up the website to give you a quick peek at the book. This was very, very much talked about before it came out and after it came out. So I definitely want to bring up Proteus. This again is from Fedon. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So yes, this is the book here. It's amazing what you can do with this principle. I want to give you a couple of the quotes here. This one speaks volumes. We all know who Peter Turner is. The routine is crazy good. I'm going to use it. I love it. There's a lot of other nice quotes here. Uri Geller. We all know who Uri Geller is. It says, Fedon's performances are very strong. He never fails to deliver. Then Peter Turner, Mart Spellman. There's nothing stronger than always having a piece of pure mind reading ready for any situation. Proteus is that and so much more. It's a beautiful piece. You got Doug McKenzie. Good quotes. You got people like Paul Vigil, Mark Lavelle, all these great people that have nothing but awesome things to say about this book. So yeah, again, if you're interested in like minimalism, you can do it at a moment's notice. This principle, you have this at your disposal at any time, and you could supposedly read minds at a moment's notice. So, it's not every day that you have something like that hits the magic market, and it has happened now. So very cool stuff. All right. Stefan had another question over here. Let's jump back over here real quick. Stefan says, how much should you practice when you first start out doing magic? I don't think that there's like a certain amount of time, but I definitely think, again, because today's topic is about practicing the right way, is make sure you make the most of the time that you do have to practice. I get asked a lot, Luke, how long do you practice? How much do you practice? I've never been a big believer that it's how much you practice, but how much you get out of the practice that you have and that you do. So I think, again, find the things that you really want to work on and really work on those. I think it's pretty important stuff, Let's see, Manoir. Sometimes I'm too afraid to use double cross, thinking I might flash that something before the actual magic begins. You know, Manoir, maybe a good way to practice double cross is to use the old ashes on hand is a good test. It's basically the same method. You know, you have someone hold out their hands, you have them hold their hands up, you do the move, they close their fist. You put some ash into your hand, and then you make it disappear, and you have it appear in their palm. And that might be a really good way for you to kind of practice doing double cross, because a lot of what you're doing with double cross is kind of what you're doing with the ash trick, just in a bit more advanced way. So maybe that'll help give you a chance to practice that in an everyday kind of situation. You know. Hello, JB. I want to subscribe. More details. What do you want to subscribe about there, Manoir? What are you interested in subscribing about? All right, we're going to jump back over to YouTube as well. Let's see what you guys are up to. Still got a lot of friends watching today, so we'll see what you guys got to say. Can't wait to pick up Proteus. Yes, Fiddlin' Johnny. It's good, but it's good. Quick question. Have any left-handers bought Triple C? I have it, love it, but being left-handed, I've come across challenges. Any thoughts? I haven't heard anything about that myself, Greg, so I can't give you any info on that, unfortunately. But if you always, you have the opportunity to send us a message if you're having some problems with stuff. We'd love to hear from you, if you're having any trouble. Me and Lee, how we doing out there, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Rasmus has a good question. Hey, everyone, what cards are in your hands right now? Yes, you guys over on Facebook, tell me. You guys on YouTube, tell me. These are the ones in my hands right now. These are the Aviators. I don't know if you can see those or not. There we go, a little Aviator action. Yeah, I like these. These are the Heritage Edition. What are you guys using over there? What's up, Michelin again? Hello. Fiddlin' Johnny, I picked up Triple C and like it, but I'm right-handed. Don't love it as much as I thought I would, but it's still good. What is it that you don't like about it, Johnny? I'd love to hear a bit more about that. Zitrim says, bicycle standard red. Okay, that's cool. Curtis Lee says he's rocking out some blue bikes. All right, that's cool. Phil the Magic Man, where can I buy and what kind of billet device would you recommend? What type of information are you looking to get, Phil? Because like a Peak device, like a Peak wallet, or what type of thing are you looking to get there, Phil? Chris Cram, the NOCs. All right, good choice. Magic Boy, check on YouTube. I'm not really set up to do YouTube today. Maybe we'll do that next time. But let's see what you guys. I bought Rift by Cody Nottingham, and that's cool, man. That's a fun one. The card through window. That is a really, really fun trick. That is a good one. Let's jump back over to Facebook, see if you guys tell me what you're using here. Mark says he's a lefty too, so okay. All right. Let's jump back over here. I want to see what other jacks. Someone's using the Jerry's Nuggets. All right, that's cool. Over on YouTube, you guys using Jerry's Nuggets. Slightly magical. Jerry's, hello, show us your pass. Unfortunately, this isn't the right angle at all because it's a really wide shot for me to try to do a pass. If you guys like, after I'm done on here, I'll jump over on Instagram Live for about 15 or 20 minutes, and I'll be happy to show you my pass over there. This shot is not good for a pass. It'll flash like hell, so not going to do it right now. Yeah. Let's see. I had something else I was hoping to show you guys. Let me see if this is here. Yes. You know what? I'm going to show you guys this. This will be cool. Give me just a sec. I'm going to tee something up. This is something that I shared recently over on our YouTube channel and Facebook page. I really had a fun time shooting this for you guys. Also give you an idea of some of the things that I used to learn from growing up. So I'm going to go back in time with you for a few minutes here. I took a trip home to North Carolina where I grew up. I went back to the house that I grew up in, and I checked out some of the old magic stuff that I used to have. And I showed you guys some of those things, including some of my old notebooks. So I'm going to show you the clip of me going home and checking out some of this stuff. And it's a good reminder, too, of, sometimes we forget about things that are actually really good, whether it's books or tricks. So if you have any old stuff that you've found recently or that you forgot about, tell me about it. While we're watching this, tell me about it. And I'd love to hear about some of the things that, some of those old things maybe you found recently that you decided to start looking at again or working on or using. Because sometimes those old things become new again, just like the first time you bought them. You know, it's a brand new thing. It's exciting. So I'm also going to start to do more and more video content for you guys. If you have any suggestions on things you'd like to see me talk about, magic topics, magic things, post those in the comments section too while we check this out. I'll be hanging out with you live in the chat section. So if you do have any suggestions or thoughts in the meantime, I'll be there with you chatting away. So here we go. Let's go back in time together. What's shaking, my friends? Luke Dancy here, and I went back in time recently. What am I talking about? Well, I took a trip home to North Carolina and visited the house that I grew up in. And when I was there, I uncovered a lot of the books and different other resources that I used to use when I started to learn magic. It also was a great reminder of just how far things have come when it came to learning magic back in the day. So have a look at this stuff. And if you have things that maybe you've forgotten about, whether it's some old books or some other old tricks in that magic drawer that we all have, you know, the drawer that the tricks you play with end up being tossed into, I would love to check out some of the stuff that you used to work on and play with. You know what? What's old is new again. So come with me, join me, go back to North Carolina. So hang on tight. Here we go. All right, so up first, this is one of my favorites growing up reading. This is the Classic Magic of Larry Jennings. I love this book. I loved all of Larry Jennings' work. Actually, one of my favorite books of his is Jennings 67. These are amazing books, just full of goodness. You get so much good stuff from books. I love these things. So there's a couple of those. Here's another favorite. You can still find this. It's a little tough. This is called Simply Harky. It's magic with just weird organic stuff like party poppers, and you got coins and matchbooks and thread and hourglasses and just all kinds of weird stuff in Simply Harky. A really good book from David Harkey. See Derek Dingle's name popping up here. Another awesome book. Still love reading this thing. Kaufman did an amazing job with that one. Speaking of Larry Jennings, here's a little manuscript. Up in Smoke. More goodness. One of the books I actually started reading when I got back, because I love this book, The Greater Artful Dodges of Eddie Fields. It's a killer book. I love this book. So those are a few of the books. Another favorite here, actually. Good for scripting magic. This is great. You want to kind of put together a show for magicians or mentalists. This is fantastic. Great read. A lot of people swore by this book when it first came out by Ken Weber. Then you got some good stuff here by Di Vernon. If you don't know who he is, you got to check him out. Then there's some other fun things here too. Like, you guys of course know about the magic magazines you get in magic shops. Well, a few years back, they actually put out, I think Dan Harlan and some other guys got together and they put out Majoke. And this is literally like a parody, an entire issue. It's not affiliated with magic, but it's supposed to look like it. And full of just really funny stuff. Like, here's a great example. Instead of delight, here's Rocco gives you the finger. So he's giving you the finger with the delight. There's just a lot of, there's the Desert Brain Fart series, advertising magic. Paul Harris, The Art of Embellishment. Alan Hackerman's, like, everyone and anybody was in here that you could think of. This, you know, just really, really fun stuff. So I wanted to share that with you. The back cover says it all too. Here's Michael Lamore and his Easy to Master Card Miracles. Actually says Master Easy Chicks with Card Tricks video series, and Amar's got silly little, he's got his little wink going on, some hair, and powerful moves, easy to master. Pretty funny stuff. So that's really funny. Majoke. That was really fun. One of the beginner books I got, these are all good. Actually, Bill Tarr has a lot of beginner books. There might still be some out there. This is one of my old ones. You can see it's all beat up. These are always great beginner books because they have big pictures, easy to learn, good stuff. So those are some of the books. Along the way, I also found some old booklets. And here's an old thing. I have a trick called Eye Candy. I still do today. This I put out when I used to go to conventions as a kid. You can see the old packaging, like the old the little baggies. Luke Dancy's Eye Candy is stunning. Printing effect that Luke has held back for years. Get your hands on this eye-popping and impossible looking effect. The E is worn off. Yeah, it's hilarious. Of course, some old notebooks. These were awesome back in the day. These are all beat up, full of just ideas and things. I've been having fun going back through these. Of course, you can't do a magic shop and not buy black soap. More manuscripts, more beginner stuff. Here's a fun thing from Guy Hollingworth. Great little gimmick card you get with some routines. Some other fun little things here. Here's a good little notebook. I think this one actually has a couple of reminders in here too of things to practice and work on, which is another reason I wanted to show you this. I think it's in here. Is it not in there? Might be in one of the other notebooks. Probably in this one. So in this notebook, in this one, I've got some different ideas. But The reason I really like this page is it was a good reminder of things to work on. Work on the double lift. You can see this is all beat up. I mean, this is old. I mean, I always wanted to do a good double lift, so I always had a little notes, things a reminder. Work on one-handed top palm, work on turnover pass, work on tenkai, all these different moves, and it's, you know, it's a good thing to get a little list together of things that you want to work on. And speaking of lists, I had one of these, situational tools, things to work with. You got house keys, money, business cards, driver's licenses, just things you always have with you that you could use as magic tools. So make a little list of those. I got that. Some other fun things, more notebooks, magazines. And then these guys, just a couple examples of the way we used to learn magic. These are VHS tapes. Back in the day, you have to rewind these guys. They go in a VCR. These are the Copperfield specials, at least a couple of them. These are 1 hour specials, used to come on CBS. I got these all on VHS. This is just one of them. That is how we used to learn magic. Here's the original, Torn by Daniel Garcia, VHS tape. The original. And of course, I mentioned before, Die Vernon. There it is. A legend. Killer stuff. Die Vernon. So, great stuff. Thought I'd give you a little peek at some of the fun things I've been going through. And there's a whole lot more here. And who knows, maybe I'll show you some more. All right, my friends, that was just a little peek at some of the stuff that I've been going through. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I am. I've been having a blast going through this stuff, and I swear I still love this magic stuff as much as I did as a kid when I first started buying this stuff and learning it and reading it and watching it. And so I hope that you continue to enjoy your journey, whether you're just getting into this stuff or whether you are someone who's been into it for a long time. The journey in this world of magic stuff is a lot of fun. So always keep that in mind of why you got into it. Because I swear to you, 30 years later, I'm still loving this stuff since the day that I started. And hope that you enjoy your path along. And it's been fun for me to share some of mine with you. So if you have any old stuff you're checking out, I'd love to hear about it or see it too. Any of your older favorite things, post some comments. Tell me what some of your old favorites are too. All right, well, I'm going to get back to having some fun here, reading some of this stuff. So I will catch you guys later. See ya. And there you have it, my friends. A little bit of a blast from the past. I took you behind the scenes to see some of the stuff that I used to check out and learn from back in the day. And it's just a small little sample, but you can see there's a lot of books there. And that's definitely the way that I enjoyed learning magic back in those days. And also with the VHS tapes, that's also like a freaking, man, there's just nothing like watching those old David Copperfield specials and all the other ones on a VHS, on a VCR. You know, it's just something about it. Brings you back, man. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Yes, Greg has something funny he says over on YouTube. He says, really cool, Luke, like Christmas all over again. Yeah, that's the way I felt, man. You know, I haven't been back home in a while. And so it was kind of nice to get back and to check out some of that old stuff that's just been sitting in the bookshelves for years. And I'm hoping that eventually I can get all that stuff out here to Vegas now that I live here, yeah. So a few friends talking about it along the way, asking me about the old Top It set, you know, from Michael Ammar. Someone did ask me about if I've ever read Corinda's 13 Steps to Minimalism. I sure have. I definitely think that it's a resource that we should all have if we're interested in minimalism. It's pretty much like the main resource that a lot of people look at when it comes to learning minimalism and that type of stuff. I had a nice comment over here. Kate says, thank you for a great conversation. It was interesting listening to you. Thank you, Kate. Appreciate you joining us today. It was very nice to see you. Mark Atkinson says, thank you for sharing that clip. I want a copy of my joke. It's hard to get a hold of, man. I don't even know who would have it these days. But if you can find it, it's something that you'll definitely enjoy having in the old bookshelf or with you. So it's a fun one. It's a fun one for sure. Yeah. James has a question. Let's jump back over here. James is asking me about, Luke, I don't do a torn and restored card trick. Can you recommend an easy one to build my confidence with it? Thank you. Yeah, James, it depends on, you can get a gimmicked one or you can get something that is pure sleight of hand. The one I just showed you there, Torn, from Daniel Garcia, is one of the easier ones. It's not gimmicked. It will take some sleight of hand, some practice, but that is a good one. I like that one. It's based on Ripped and Restored from Yves Demers, a French guy. Some of the easier ones that are out there, there is one that what's his name put out. Do you want to do a full torn and restored card, or do you want to just do like a part of a card? Because there's also some out there now where if you just tear off a corner, you can cause the corner to jump back on. I know Nicholas Lawrence had one of those, which is pretty cool. I forget what he called it, but it looks really nice and visual. Then you have stuff. There's a brand new one from Michael Chatelain, actually, the guy I showed you earlier with the tornado box. His new thing is called. Let me see what it's called here. This just came out. And it is a torn and restored card, but I think it's just the corner as well, which is why I'm asking. The new one from Michael is called Flashback. It allows you to have a card signed. Yeah, you tear off the corner, and then you're able to restore the torn corner, which is pretty cool. I haven't actually checked it out myself, but it is brand new, and it is from Michael Chatelain, and he's just got some really good stuff. He's so clever. He has another one too that is a piece-by-piece restoration that I don't know if we still carry or not. So let me take a peek here. He's just got so much stuff. I don't know how this guy does it. He has a torn and restored that's totally gimmicked. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. Just looking through here. Is it called Rewind? Or was that one I already saw up here? Oh, these are some of his older ones. Speed. Rewind. Yeah, it is. Man, gosh. Yeah, Rewind. It's a little expensive, but this one allows you to do a piece-by-piece restoration of a card. I'm going to play it for you. This is with the face of the card. You have a card selected, and then you do tear the card into 4 quarters. This is definitely an older one. You can see Michael here looks a little bit different. He's a little bit younger here. But yeah, you can tear the card into 2 pieces, and then you can tear it again into 2 more smaller pieces. You got 2 more there. So now you have 4 pieces. And now what you're able to do is you take each of the pieces, and you can cause them to restore. And this is totally basically self-working. I mean, it's super clean. Look at that. You got the first 2 pieces. You can show the front. You can show the back. You take the next piece, and again, you just take it, you touch it, and it goes back on right there. And you show the front and the back again. It's pretty cool. And you take the last piece, and you pop it back on too. And there you go. Show your hands empty. Show front and back of the card. And there you go. So that is called Rewind. And it is a gimmick. And this is the face version of it. I think there's a face and a back. So if you want to do it where you can show the face of the card. But yeah, this one's totally gimmicked. So it allows you to do all this stuff without really any sleight of hand. So if you're kind of new to this stuff, that's one to think about. It's a little pricey, but that's okay because you get some really good quality gimmicks. And then there are a few of the newer ones out there too that I mentioned. So I'd love to know what my friends had to say about that. Let's jump back over here to Facebook and see what my friends are saying about it. It is called Rewind, yes. So James says that. It's called Rewind, yes, Manoir. Manoir says he has it. So Manoir, what do you think about it? Do you like it? Do you like Rewind? It's awesome. Well, he already answered my question. I do it. All right, so it is awesome. Kate says David Stone has a great version. Okay, right on. Manoir says gimmick is worth buying. So we're talking about Rewind again. Says it is worth buying. He does use it, so there you go. I also want to get back to Steven says, Steven Phillips, I don't have a video player, but can sell my TV and with the money get one. That's funny, Steven. That's funny. So yes, there you go. Those are a couple different versions with the torn and restored card. All right, cool. So today's topic, guys, again, if you're just joining us, has been all about practicing the right way. And we're going to recap things real quick, and then we're going to start to wrap up this week's show. Number 1 is to focus. If you're going to practice, make sure you focus and have a good environment where you're allowing yourself to focus. Maybe have a nice tidy area instead of a big cluster area of stuff everywhere. Focus is important. Second tip, again, is to not just practice the tricks, but also the moves that you use with the tricks. Put some dedicated attention on some of those moves. The one I keep talking about over and over again is the double lift, because it's a move we all use a lot, but most of us do it pretty poorly because we're just kind of in a rush to get to doing the tricks and not so much working on the moves themselves. Number 3, this one also came in from a buddy. Was it Danny? Just want to make sure I get a right shout out. When it comes to not only practicing the tricks and the moves, but also practicing the pattern, the presentation, you got to make sure that you do that too. And I think it was Danny Chase that mentioned that. So I want to make sure he gets a little shout out for that. That's definitely something that you need to practice too, is, it's not just about the trick. Technically, it's also about how you present it and how people, and record yourself doing that. And that's kind of tip number 4 is use a mirror. There's 3-way mirrors you can now use, or record yourself. Put your phone up or grab a camera and connect it to your computer, and then you can play it back later. But when you do record yourself practicing, make sure you also talk as though you're performing for real people, because not only do you want to kind of critique yourself and get better with the tricks and the way that you do them, but also the way you present them. And you can learn a lot by watching yourself. Sometimes you can learn a little bit too much and realize, oh my God, what have I been doing all this time? Jack Murdoch tuning in. Good to see you, Jack, over on Facebook too. Nice to see you, sir. Very busy out there. Back over here on YouTube, I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Stefan, if you walked out of the house and forgot everything and had nothing on you, what effect should you perform? I mean, what you should perform, a little bit different, but I do have magic I use with my phone, and I have a couple other little things, like with my keys again, I have a ring flight on it, the departure gimmick, I have it on there. I've kind of mentioned it a couple times a day. I want to make sure, if you're not familiar with what departure looks like, this is really cool. And if I'm not mistaken, it's only $30, but it's very well made. I really like this one a lot. So let me just pull that up for you and show you what it looks like. These are the type of things that, you're already going to carry keys with you. So why not have something that you can do with them, or have a gimmick that goes with them? So this is the type of ring flight. This is the little thing that looks like a, garage door opener, or your car, little fob. And this is the clip that goes on the ring. So the ring goes on that and appears hanging from your keychain in this fob. And again, it's only $30. That's a steal, guys. So I have it, I use it. And that's the type of thing that I literally will never leave home without, because when I do leave home, I have my keys with me most of the time. So there's a couple things I keep with me when I go out. Yeah. And it's also, if you have magic that you do with money, like you're already going to carry money with you. That's something else I mentioned in that little video that I showed you guys earlier. Maybe you missed it, or maybe you were just now tuning in. Make a list of all the things that you would normally carry with you, and then figure out, what tricks could I do with this? So again, you're going to have your keys. What could I do with my keys, or what could I add to them? I'm going to carry money. I've got my credit cards. What can I do with these things? I'm going to carry my wallet. Is there a special kind of wallet? Maybe I could do something with it if I'm going to carry all this stuff in. Think about all the different things with you and look at them as tools that you can use to perform with. And then you'll be ready to just crush it when you are asked to do magic, and you'll never be caught off guard ever again. There's nothing worse, is there really, than someone saying, hey, could you show me a trick? And you go, well, I don't have anything with me. Like, we should never be in that position, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So that's a shame if that happens. Yeah, let's see what you guys have to say, though. Unlock by Morgan Strebler. Haven't seen it myself, but I know what you're talking about. You're able to unlock a spectator's phone. Joe Monte says, like Marcossetti's Rip Bill. Yeah, I forgot about that one. It's a new thing. I forget the name of it. Ian wants to know, what's the best reaction you ever got, and what was the trick you performed? Man, best reaction? I don't know, dude. I don't know. That's a tough one. I think the best reactions, though, aren't like the, how did you do that? But like when people get just really excited about magic. I was away a little while ago, and I ended up doing some magic for kids. I'm not a kids performer, but just to see how genuine their reactions were, how excited they were to be around a magician. Like, that's the kind of stuff I think that excites me the most, is when people, they're not trying to figure you out, they're not trying to give you a hard time. It's just, there are people out there that really enjoy what we do. And I think that's the type of stuff that I enjoy the most, Torn is a great version. We'll talk about the Torn Restored card right on, Phil. Torched and Restored. Yes, that is another good Torn Restored card. Mr. 52 Cards, thank you for that recommendation. I totally forgot. It's from Brent Braun. Yeah. Andrew Nagy, I actually have an Amar Toppet made in a coat. That's cool, man. That's legit. You can do some amazing things with a Toppet, can't you? I heard that they were originally made for thieves. They could steal stuff, and now it's a magician's tool. Who would have thought? Michelin, Ring Flight Revolution is awesome but expensive. Yeah, it is. The reason it is very well made, I like it. To me, it's just bigger than something I would normally carry on my keychain. That's why I like Departure more. But Ring Flight Revolution is amazing. I always ask in Magic the most two important questions. This one comes from my buddy Min. What if and how can I make this better? That's a very important thing to think about, isn't it? Especially the what if. What if I could do this? What if this happened? What if? And I like the idea of how to make things better. And you can always make anything better. And the minute that you stop thinking that way is the minute you get complacent and things just aren't fun anymore. You're just doing. Somebody can give some idea on what to perform in a few days. I will do walk around magic in a party. Honestly, if you got something coming up in a few days, don't worry about adding new stuff. Make the stuff that you perform better. Work it out, routine it, figure out how you can maybe link some of the tricks together. I think it's a pretty bad idea to try to add new things to perform. Definitely check out things that you already do and make them better or routine them again. Andrew Nagy, deposit is the name for Marcus Eddy's new thing. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. Joe says, do you perform different tricks for girls and guys? And also if there's a mixture of girls and guys in the group. I mean, I really don't. None of the things I do are kind of geared for one or the other. It's always fun to do something like the anniversary waltz where you could do something for both. Magic for couples is always really fun. So that is definitely something to think about. But I never do things different for a guy versus a girl. That's not something. What about you, Joe? Do you do things a little bit different? I know people do things maybe with jewelry or rings or something, but I've never kind of changed up the who, What is your favorite color change? One of my favorites is the Impulse change from Mr. Jack Carpenter. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to show you here because you're way too far away from me. But basically, you're able to take a card, stick it in the deck like this, where it's kind of side jogged, and you shake it and the card changes. Like I said earlier, I'll probably jump on Instagram Live after this for a few minutes. I can show you over there. I'll do my pass over there. I'll show you that. It's a much better angle, much better shot to show you some of the card moves. So maybe I can show you some of that in just a little bit. So you take break from Magic? Like, do you do and talk about it every day? Magic's my life. It's been my life for the past 30 years. I love it. And I do take breaks from stuff. I'll go travel and visit family or friends. I'll go travel, vacation, and have fun. I like to eat sushi. I'm really into photography. I'm into videography now. I'm doing a lot of stuff like that. So I have other interests outside of Magic, but on the daily, Magic is my life. And I like it that way, Exactly why I always wear a ring. I always have it on me. Yes, cool Magic. Right on, right on. I remember that one, though. I rarely use it. I'm not sure which one we're talking about. Oh, yes, the Impulse change, yeah. Joe says, trick would you do if you were naked with someone else who happens to be naked? Question when it comes down to the basics. God, that's a terrible thought. Oh. What are we on? The Discovery Channel's Naked and Afraid show? I'm naked and afraid to do magic. Dude, I don't know. I know what Joe would do. He does this really cool physical comedy. He makes his arm longer. He makes his thumb travel up and down. I can't do that kind of stuff. I guess I could, but I don't do that kind of stuff right now. But Joe's awesome. Yeah. Danix, I'm not sure what you're saying there, buddy. Sometimes the brain has to take some time off, especially for me. I mean, honestly, dude, I practice and I perform socially, but Magic is always on my mind. In general, I work all the time. My girlfriend tells me sometimes, she's like, you just need to unplug. You need to stop. I mean, I was working last night doing stuff for Murphy's till 9 o'clock last night, and I was still going. I have a hard time stopping, I guess. Deposit is Marcus Eddy straight. Yes, right on. Michelin says I wouldn't do Magic. Yeah. So, all right. So today's topic, we talked all about practice, hopefully the right way. Hopefully. And if you guys have topics that you'd like us to talk about for future episodes, last week we talked about creating magic. It's a pretty popular topic. Practicing is another very popular topic. So if you guys have other topics that you'd like us to chat about or focus on or answer questions about, feel free to let me know. You can post comments. You can post them on our socials anytime. But we were always here to listen and give you what you want. Steven says, video yourself in a mirror and watch back if you see the move, practice more. Yes, well said, Steven. We're talking about practicing again today. Jack Murdoch, hello. Departure is awesome. Everyday carry. Right on, right on. Support from the Boy Scouts. Be prepared. Yes, yes. Kate says, eye contact is a very important thing to practice. Ho Jin Yu puts photos of people he knows on the wall so it helps him. That's cool, Kate. I never thought of that. But yeah, eye contact, very important when you're performing for people, that connection to people. That's what magic's really about, you know? It's not about, it is, but it's not. It's not just about fooling and tricking people. It's about connecting with people, maybe passing along a feeling, maybe inspiring someone, maybe, having them feel a little bit better about what's going on in their life. You know, it's kind of like an escape at the end of the day, not only for the spectators, but sometimes for us too, as the magician, you know? Stephen Phillips, it's in the UK, excuse me. It's holidays at school, but they have holiday clubs at the schools. I'm teaching over 30 kids 4 days a week to do magic. Just a little heads up, if no shows for you chaps. Well, that's cool, man. That sounds really cool, Stephen. Bill, it's going really good. Hope you're doing well. Charles wants to know, what is your main prop? Cards. Yeah, I mean, I would consider myself a card guy at the end of the day. But I'm not just a purist. I don't just say you can only do card tricks with a regular deck. I'm known to throw in gimmicks or use gimmicks combined with sleight of hand to create some things that you really can't do with just pure sleight of hand. And there's things you can't just do with gimmicks. If you combine both worlds, the worlds collide. Then you can do some really crazy stuff. You know, you do some really good sleight of hand, you combine gimmicks sparingly, and then you start to really shake people up. And that's one of the reasons I really started to get into magic with double-sided tape, because there's just some stuff you can do with that that's just impossible otherwise, you know? So, yeah. A lot of good thoughts out there, a lot of good questions out there. You guys are always keyed in on what's going on. In the meantime, if you have any other questions about magic stuff, because we're going to wrap this up in just a minute, you can use our socials. You know, make sure you check us out over on Facebook. We just came from there. Give us a follow over there. We're always posting new and fun stuff. I'll also be posting more and more weekly videos for you on different topics of magic. Try to help you out there. And when we do go live, you'll know about it. Make sure you turn the notifications on. You can do that on mobile now. It's pretty easy. And if you're watching over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to us. We've got a lot of other fun stuff, and we're featuring new magic every single week that you don't want to miss out on that stuff and know all about it. And you can also use the email address popping up below. If you want to connect with us there, if you have any questions, or if you want to send us video clips you'd like to see on the show. I did that for a few people today in their Instagram accounts, and we kind of got lost onto the topic of practice. That's the email address you can use too to get in touch with us, or you can drop us a private message over on Facebook too. All right, it's a good spot to do it. Also, as a little friendly reminder, we're going to go back over to our website real quick. Feel free to have a look over at murphysmagic.com each and every day, because there's new magic added every day. That's the truth. We are the world's largest magic wholesaler, so the magic shops are the customers that we supply. So if you see anything on our website that you like or that you want to get your hands on, contact your favorite dealer and they will hook you up with the good stuff. You can't purchase from our website, but the dealers can. And if you want to submit magic to us, go all the way down to the bottom of the page, click on Submit Magic, and there is all the details. We've had a chance to work with some of the greatest people in the world, people like Yegal Masika, Paul Harris, Daniel Garcia, Eric Jones, Will Tsai, Titanus, Chef Kaler, Luis D'Amato, Shin Lim, and others. And we would love to hear from you guys too. Maybe you'll be the next person on that list, and maybe you'll be the next one to show up on this show with me and talk about your brand new trick. So hit us up with your magic. And again, if you're going to be at Magic Live, make sure to hit me up, even if it's just to say hello. I'm going to be hooking you guys up with some free swag. I'll have decks, I'll have tricks, I'll have stuff to give you. Also might be doing some fun interviews with you guys. So if you want to pop on and have a quick chat with me, I'm going to be grabbing some content there. Maybe I could have you featured on one of these shows with me too. I'm going to be doing some live content for Magic Live too, so that's going to be really cool. But those are a few things to think about coming up soon. So if you're going to be in Las Vegas, let me know. It'd be fun to sit down, see some magic. We could throw down, just jam out a little bit, grab the cards, and have some fun, you know? All right. Let's go back over here to YouTube real quick as we start to wrap this up. Joe Monte, your ring work is amazing. Yeah, thank you, Joe. I haven't really messed around a lot with that, but I've had some fun with magic with rings for sure. Wouldn't you all make more profit if you sold magic consumers too? Well, I mean, Stefan, that's a good question, but, you know, the dealers are the customers, and if we start to sell magic, then we're competing with the people that are our customers, and that's not too cool. So that's why we don't sell retail, because you know, that's what our dealers do. They sell retail, so we'd be taken away from their business. That's not cool. Nobody does the impulse move better than you. I remember you frying me in an elevator with the impulse change. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that, man. It's definitely one of my favorite moves, so appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Ian says, how many hours per day do you practice? You know, it's never about how much time you practice something, it's about how much you get out of it, how much attention you put on it. And that, again, goes back to full circle. Today's topic of practicing, make sure that when you do practice, that you practice the right way. I think that's a really important thing to think about with your magic, because we're all going to practice, and you should practice. And I hope that to you, when you have a chance to, that it's fun for you to be able to sit down and work on new stuff. So yeah, and I'll post below this, the topics that we talked about this week when it comes to practicing the right way, maybe some things to think about, jot down, keep in mind as you go forward. There's a lot of fun stuff to work on. And to me, that's one of the fun things about magic, and if you ever get bored with what you're doing, maybe it's time to take a step back. Maybe you're working on card magic. Maybe take a step back and check out coin magic. Maybe you've already done that. Maybe check out minimalism. Maybe check out other areas of magic. There's always a way to keep it fresh and fun. And I'd hate for you to kind of get burned out because you're only, zoned in and focused on one thing. So always try to remember that too. Yeah. All right. Body Magic is a great book for non-prop magic. All right. So there you go. If you're looking for stuff to do with nothing on you, check out Body Magic. I was also going to ask Joe, is the Marietted Finger Fantasies, is that something else you would recommend? That is something that, Marietted, known back in the day for doing magic with his fingers, making his fingers vanish and stuff. And it's kind of crazy that he actually ended up getting in a car accident where he lost one of his fingers for real. That was strange, right? So, yes, I'd love to hear Joe's thought on, because he knows Marietted. So I'd love to know if he thinks that's a good one. Finger Fantasies. I have a feeling he's going to say yes, but I'd love to get the definitive answer from Mr. Joe Monte. If you don't know, I worked with Joe Monte for, what was it, 4 years? 3 or 4 years with, was it longer? I don't even, man, it's been so long since I even came to Vegas. It's been almost 10 years, dude. I worked with Joe 3, 4, or 5 years. It was somewhere maybe 5 years when we worked with Chris Angel. So that's how I know Joe. Joe is a extremely creative guy. And when you sit down with him, you'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right. Not seeing any answer there from Joe, so I think we're going to let that go. We'll go for just another minute here and see what he says. Yeah, not seeing any answers yet. So Joe says he loved working with Murphys. That's cool. All right. Well, that is good to hear, and that is what we will leave on there. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank all of you for tuning in this week. We'll be back again next Wednesday, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I will not be alone. I'll be joined by a guest. His name is Ryan from, better known as 56 Cards over on Instagram. Let me just confirm that is his name, so I want to make sure you guys check him out. He is a card collector and has 56 Sealed. I'm sorry. His name is 56 Sealed. Yeah, Ryan is his name. And he's known for his thoughts and opinions as a card collector. He's someone a lot of people look up to in that type of stuff. And again, his name is 56 Sealed. His real name is Ryan. And he's going to be joining me next week. We're going to be talking all about the deck that a lot of people have been very excited to see, which is the metallic decks from the Mechanics series. You can see that when I pop this back up. These are the decks I'm talking about over here. These are the ones that when you riffle them, the gears move. It's super cool, and they're marked, which is really cool too. And that set comes with the Glimmer edition, which is the gold one you see there, and the Shiner edition, the silver one. And the cool thing is about the Shiner box, it's actually a Shiner. So when you put the box down, the tuck, and you open up the flap, that is a Shiner. You can see cards when they're dealt over the box. Super cool, right? So that's next week. That's going to be me and Ryan talking all about that decks, that set, and just card collecting and card stuff in general. So join me next week for that. So mark it on the old calendar. Again, that is next Wednesday. I think that's August 2nd, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will see you there. Thank you again for all the great questions today, guys, and all the great comments. And whether you're watching this over on Facebook or over on YouTube, make sure that if you have other questions about this stuff after this video is over, you can still post comments on either one of these videos, and we are always checking stuff out. And you can drop us a private message on Facebook too. over there. All right. So that is going to wrap it up this week. Thanks again to everybody for joining us. These are always a blast. I always look forward to seeing you guys and new faces. And if you are watching this as a on demand, as the replay, make sure to tell me how you found the show and maybe leave some feedback. Just say hello so I know that you're out there. All right. So I will catch you guys next week. In the meantime, I hope that you always remember what got you into magic. And maybe one day you'll be passing that same feeling on to someone else to start to try to do magic, to be a magician. And that is the best part about this stuff. It's not just about fooling people. It's also about inspiring people, maybe helping people. Magic's a beautiful thing when you let it be. All right. So get to practicing, have some fun, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. But that is it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I sure know I did. Catch you next time.